Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
Unfortunate. Having we've lost Rav just right at the beginning.
Yeah, no. So thank you, everyone. Now I'm back. Apparently, using advanced scene switcher doesn't want to work properly with the macros. Make sure I mute myself in between scenes. So welcome everybody to our second ever tournament. I know it's also day 2 of the Runeterra Open. For those who are watching over and decided to come join us here, thank you.
You made the right choice.
Yeah, thank you for joining. On the caster desk today, we do have Lucky Boy and we do have General joining us on the casting desk. So welcome both of
I
you.
waved too, for the record.
I'm not a fancy VTuber, so you get the real thing.
I'm not a fancy one either. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Glad to be here, Rav.
Thank you. Glad to have everyone here with us today. I mean, I'm just doing good. I haven't set up my doing my light. I'm doing good. I'm so busy about production stuff. I didn't worry about my own. So we do have, I think, about 25 people who signed up after some cuts. We did have a little bit of people dropping and a little bit of no-shows, partly because we changed the schedule time this time around. We got a lot of feedback at the last tournament to start an hour earlier, so we're trying that out. Let's see what happens. Caused a little bit of issues, but we'll see what happens with that. But we do have our first match that is going to be ready here shortly. And that is in terms of IDC Elite is going to be on our first match. They're currently waiting for their opponent. And it looks like we have... Oh, Gone actually just finished. Let me see if there's a tournament reporting on that. No one reported yet. But in terms of that, very short. Sorry, I'm doing a little bit of admin work. Getting some message about round 2 start. But we're going to start very shortly.
I was gonna say, just looking at the deck breakdowns for today, looks like we've got some spice, got some interesting lineups. You know, surprisingly, very little Karma or Seraphine to be seen today.
Yeah, that's definitely a shocker for me as well. Like, Ladder would paint a very different picture.
Yeah.
But maybe everyone just assumed everyone's bringing the hard counters today. So, you know, shout outs to the one person that brought Ionia Piltover Karma set. Good luck to you. Godspeed.
Yeah. I was looking down at the list, and we've got a well, I guess we do have 2 kind of Seraphine bars, you know, Bilgewater bars with a Seraphine Teemo, and I think we also had a Seraphine Caitlyn list as well. So it may just maybe they're just all hiding amongst the stats. Who knows how much bar we'll see today, or if it's going to be banned or targeted.
So I just pulled up the Seraphine Teemo list. There's no bar.
There's no bar.
There's no bar.
All right.
They're playing Fleet Admiral Shelley and Father Fury, baby.
All right, let's get spicy. Let's bring it home. So the other bar variant is so we've got Caitlyn and Jack Seraphine, and those both look fairly similar. There is a Pantheon Yuumi. I don't know about you. I thought Yuumi got rotated there for a minute. I don't. I think the last time she was on ladder was almost a year ago. It has been. Nora shows up and the cat gets lost again.
I don't know. Pantheon is such a sleeper pick too. I feel like I never see people playing him, and the few times I run into him on ladder and they level him up, I'm like, what? I have to like hover over the champion. I'm like, what does he do? Like, this is not okay. That's a lot of keywords, buddy.
The keyword casino is strong. You know, always roll lifesteal, always roll elusive. It's guaranteed.
Yeah. To throw in tough for good measure.
Yeah. I mean,
of course.
So then you just bring Karma Set and you just laugh. I mean, that's how it goes. But so we did just start our round 2. Oh,
okay.
Do not. Okay, for a second I thought the tournament website crashed. That would be really sad.
Tragedy.
Cut down in his prime.
So who do we got elite playing?
Over. All right, so it looks like Gone did win their matchup. Sorry if you see me turning around. It's the type in the laptop on the other streaming device. But on our sheet, it's Gonzin. They brought Alawi J4, Fizz Samira, and Kale Leona. The sort of normal list, I want to say. The normal best of 3 list.
You know, that's a really interesting pairing. Like, I know that I had talked with a lot of people about splitting your Leona from the Samira so that you can play that Fizz Samira deck as well. Seeing as like the power level of the Leona deck doesn't seem to suffer too much from losing her, although be curious to hear what you think, Lucky.
I find myself agreeing with you. Like Kale Leona is a deck I had a lot of success with as well, and I think even pairing her with Diana works very fine. Samira is very strong. Obviously, it doesn't really matter too much who you put her with, but yeah, I feel like Leona is going to be strong enough on her own. So then if you pair Samira with someone like Fizz, that you just get to still benefit from having Samira in your lineup without tying her up with a champion that really ultimately doesn't need her to succeed.
Oh, wow. So it looks like we have 2 copies of the Leona Diana variant with 2 copies of the Leona Kale variant and 1 copy of a Leona Riven.
Leona Riven, now that's spicy.
Okay.
That is spicy. And I'd be curious to see like how much of the Reforge package are actually running, or if they're just got Riven as a value add.
So actually, on which list? Did I miss this Riven list?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm gonna look at it real quick. It looks like they got, as far as the Reforge package, they got some Rune Squires. That's it.
Okay, so pretty much unchanged. Just Riven's just along for the ride.
Yeah, like who is bringing Leona's back up? What color do you want to play with Leona?
So
and why is it Noxus?
So let's see. So we've got the Leona Kale, Fizz Samira, Alawi J4 going against Alawi J4, Vayne Quinn Aatrox, and Lurk. That is an interesting ban phase.
I like the Lurk. I mean, I played Lurk on release.
I think Lurk is really going to struggle into the Leona Diana. So
yeah,
and also like the Fizz Samira too. Like it.
I feel like Lurk doesn't do that well against anything that's also putting guys on the board.
So what are you getting here in terms?
Yeah, so I feel like if I'm Gone, I just don't like playing against Aatrox. So like that would probably be my ban. But I don't know that that's necessarily correct. That's like a very personal. I mean, it depends on how comfortable he is with the mirror as well, with the Alawi Jarvan.
Hmm.
I mean, I think that that's one of his few. Unfortunately for his lurk, which is probably going to get left up to be targeted, just depending on what
Yeah.
they prefer to play against. That Quinn Vane Aatrox is their best chance.
Yeah, so like that would also just be, I don't know. I think Aatrox just steals games sometimes. Like if they get to that point, you just can't do anything about it. Now, as far as what I would ban for Elite, it really depends on if you feel like getting high rolled by Fizz Samira or you feel like getting run over by Leona Kale.
It's tough since we've got a board. I mean, we've
You,
got a board-based deck. You know, those stuns can be pretty devastating. I would probably want to try and see if I could run over the Fizz Samira, just get too big, force them to block down.
yeah, I
Uh,
agree with that.
Whereas, like, you know, they drop a Leona and stun lock you with Dayhawk, you know, it's kind of game over. You know,
Is there?
they can
Oh, well, I just got some bad news.
Uh-oh.
So Gon actually didn't play today in the tournament.
Oh.
Apparently his opponent didn't either. Which is why I never heard about no one no showing.
The double buy.
Because Gon actually made top 8 in the Runeterra Open.
Oh snap! Well,
I'm
hey, I
sorry.
mean,
So with that bracket,
congratulations.
does Elite get the double buy?
Technically speaking, I think Elite just got the double buy. I'm double checking to make sure I'm not missing something in this matchup.
Gotta double
Better
check the double
lucky than
buy.
good, baby. We take those. That's a dub in my book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, congrats to Gon for making top 8. I mean, that's awesome. You know,
Actually, hold on. His opponent did message but never reported. So I'm seeing if the opponent is still here. Before I
Ooh.
just opponent
Before
just send a message in the match room saying, "Hey," no response from his opponent, and then I just sort of popped in there and said, "Hey, did your opponent not show?" And make sure he's still around. Um,
well,
awkward.
great. Now, all
Hmm.
of our great commentary about nothing.
I think
Yeah.
everything I said was correct, and you can't prove otherwise. I was gonna
All this
ask.
is opinion.
I was gonna ask with that lineup though. I mean, is there a world where you just ban Gon's Alawi Jarvan and hope that you can get bigger than the Leona Kale with your Alawi Jarvan? Is that the
I mean,
angle you try to shoot?
I guess you have Cataclysm, um, to kind of attack through that, but I still think the problem is just they'll have the early stats on you and they'll force you to block down.
Mm.
Um, it's it's a tough. I think that's a tough call. Like, let's see.
I feel like that was looking like a rough lineup for Elite. So
Yeah. Well, hey, there we go. So, you know, the obvious answer is just have your opponent, you know, make top cut, and then you don't have to worry about it.
I
All right.
mean, clearly you just duo queue, right? You
Do
just open up you open up your second Runeterra account with a full collection.
you play 2 tournaments at the same time? No big deal, you know.
I
Yeah.
mean, people
I
did it on Magic Online all the time, right?
I'm just imagining like a Magnus Carlsen, you know, walking by playing like 6 chess games at the same time. Just
So,
big brain everybody.
interesting
I've def
situation though. If his opponent doesn't show, Flavio does show. Flavio is bringing Aurelian Leona. What?
Aurelian Leona.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's probably looking at like more the top end. Oh yeah, there is in fact Aurelian Leona. Uh, it still looks. I mean, it's pretty much the usual pack. Oh, they splashed Demacia for 2 single combats, and they're running a Divine Judgment.
Oh.
Divine Judgment is so spicy.
That is spicy.
Yeah, I love the single combat. Like we got 3 single combats and that's it.
Yeah.
Targon and then like Demacia is like we would like a little bit of removal. It turns out,
Mhm.
you know, 5/5s and your daybreak guys with the boosted stats, they fight pretty well.
Yeah, it's kind of those Sun Guardians can be so difficult to deal with. You know, if someone goes, even if they don't do anything else, they go, you know, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5 Sun Guardians. All of a sudden, you've got, you know, this massive chunky board that's just going to continue to grow, and
I
it's
feel like
just
when
a
I play
frustrating
when I
time.
play Sun Guardians, and maybe I don't know, maybe you have a different experience. Whenever I play Sun Guardian on 3, They've got it. They've got the double mystic shot, the high note mystic shot, whatever it takes to bring down that Sun Guardian. When my opponent plays it, it is Sun Guardian into Sun Guardian into Sun Guardian, and then they don't attack. And I'm like, why aren't they attacking? They have these huge guys. It's like, oh, they're just keeping the stats on the guy. In 2 turns, I'm not going to be able to do anything about these. Just period.
All right. So why?
Well, I mean, yeah, you go
Go ahead.
3-4 to 4-5 to 5-6, like it. And at 3 mana, it's just impossible to remove them efficiently. And at that point, they may have Pale up, or they've got their single combat. So even if you remove it, they're gonna get their pound of flesh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
I will say I don't really like the mid range, like not mid range, more late game aimed lists, just because I think what makes this powerful is just that aggressive, explosive opener, like where you can be like pigeon, pigeon, pigeon,
Yeah.
and hey, guess what? I have attack token on 3, and I've got 15 damage on board.
It's one of those things where the late game very much is strong if you get there, and that's fine. But at the same time, there's other decks, Karma Set, where it's just if you're playing that late game angle, there's more powerful late games you could be going for.
Right.
So it's like your deck is already strong enough that you could beat someone before getting to the late game. So, and then the value of adding your late game doesn't actually, you're not doing anything bigger or better than the other late game decks. So it feels like you're hedging your bets in a way you don't necessarily need to. I'm sure it's a blast to play though. Aurelian Soul is just a really fun card.
I mean, I do love my, especially, your elusive spell shield. Celestial Dragon is pretty cool. Nothing wrong with that.
I did just want to report we're giving early person 5 minutes or so to show up. Otherwise, we will cut over to Lunari's match.
All right, let's pull up these lists.
Yeah, so Lunari, also known as Fenrir in Discord ID, is Maokai Nautilus, Jack Seraphine, Fizz Samira.
Now that's a lineup.
That looks like the lineup I've been bringing to the gauntlet for about 4 weeks and going 1 and 5 and 1 and 2.
I'm curious, like let's look at this deep list, because I feel like there's like 37 cards that you have to run, and then you've got 3 spots to play with, because you've got all of your deep and toss cards.
They're playing a lot more, like they're playing Salvage. They're only playing 1 Abyssal Eye. It looks like they're going a lot more on like we're getting to deep as fast as possible.
And of course, they actually just responded. So you'll be in a game here shortly. Yay!
All right.
For the lead.
All right. Well, never mind Lunari.
Yeah, this has been jumping around everywhere. It's been a pretty crazy tournament, especially considering we have the Runeterra Open today. I mean, the Open. So a lot of people are everywhere. People are like sort of burnt out. At the same time, they're not. So people are just sort of.
I heard a lot of people enjoyed like the pacing of the Open.
It was nice, like being able to play when you want. I have a wife that I love dearly, and she is not always super thrilled about me saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be gone for like 12 hours, and then I'm gonna be sad the rest of the day."
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we.
I know.
I
was worried with go on.
Oh, go ahead, but we're about to cut over right now. I'm spectating their matches, so be prepared. We're about to cut over here in less than a minute. I think they're doing their picks and bans.
Right this is
IDC Elite versus Flavio, otherwise Tioff.
Oh,
so the
okay.
Aurelian Soul Leona.
Oh yeah. So going back to our Aurelian Soul. Okay, so we've got Aurelian Soul, Deep, and Canetrox.
Again, Canetrox for me. That's just if that deck is there and I don't see something that I hate more, like that's snagging it for me. And then I'll think about my lineup and realize it wouldn't have been that bad of a matchup. But I don't like playing against it. It's frustrating.
We're gonna cut over, and I wish you guys the best. I'm gonna mute.
Thanks.
All right.
Have fun.
Thanks, sir.
Let's see what they decide on these bans. Oh,
we're getting right into it. Okay, so it looks
like
they
didn't ban that. Yeah.
So it's gonna be Jarvan for Alawi into Canetrox first.
Okay. Looks like a solid start for Alawi, but let's look over at the.
Oh, that is that's one of the dangers of the Canetrox deck is just you can absolutely brick your early hands.
Yeah, my eyes drifted up and I'm like, there is a 1 unit and it's a 4-drop. So we're gonna have to draw something here. Oh god.
There's absolutely been games where I did not get to play unit until 6, and I you can imagine how that went for me.
He's gonna draw it. He's gonna draw the unit on 3. It's gonna be a 3-drop.
We just needed to see something. Ooh,
Oh my!
second Furious Wielder is not it. I mean, honestly, like
This is
the
looking a lot
Alawi
like my
player,
Gauntlet games.
sad. I think that we're gonna see the Alawi drop. I mean, if we play Ranger Knight, we have I mean, we have the Momentous, and if they're gonna give us this swing, we are very low health, but Harp can do work for us, especially with the double Furious Wielder in hand.
Yeah, we are.
Double Furious.
We could maybe clean up this board a little
Yeah.
bit.
I mean, and we also have the freeze in hand if needed, but oh, so I'm pretty much signaling that we've got the Momentous. I think if from their side of things, we just take the damage.
Yeah, and just crack back.
Yeah, say stop my open swing. I do think that we're gonna see the Furious Wielder here onto the Alawi.
Yeah, this is definitely looking a lot closer than it was, 3 turns ago when you looked at those opening hands.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I banned Cane Drop.
Double Momentous choice will kill this tentacle. Because we can't save the unit, so I guess it's just a and we have to kill the tentacle because otherwise the open attack
Kills us.
kills us. So, yep.
Whew. We're clawing our way.
I almost, depending on what the opponent plays next turn, because they could play the 5/5, the
Oh man.
on 3.
Yeah.
If we just wait and hold up freeze, we will survive this turn.
They got that Cataclysm though too.
So we'll have to play. I think the winning. Well, I think like our only line is to play Kane next turn, and that makes things more difficult.
Yeah, we have to develop something.
The child is gone.
Is there a world where you just swap it out for the fan, just for the little bit of lifesteal?
I mean, I think that would. I think that's probably the right play.
It just feels bad putting anything other than that Scythe on Kane.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, yeah, I think the writing's on the wall here.
That's just RNG happens. There's not a lot much more to say about that.
No, and you have a number of 1-drops. I mean, just looking at the
Yeah,
deck,
like
he has 6 1-drop. I mean, looking at 3 cost or less units, we've got 10. We've got 11 that we could have drawn, and we didn't quite see the mulligan. So I would imagine that they didn't mulligan away early units. So just
yeah.
sometimes the game doesn't like you.
Okay. So now they're on. So it looks like Flavio actually banned Pike Rek'Sai.
Yep. So let's.
Okay. Interesting.
No, looking at this hand, like, oh no, I really liked that opening hand that they had, having the Steadfast Alkin. Oh, okay, good. We got some overlap there in between the two. I really like this Steadfast Alkin into oh. All right, just the insta surrender, just the turn.
Turn 0, baby.
Yep. Didn't have any units until looks like turn 4. I think he drew a Ranger Knight, or it might have even been turn 5 with the Cane, which when your opponent has a unit and you have nothing to play, puts you in a bad spot. They could have drawn into something, but
I'm very much a firm believer in I almost never concede. There's always the chance my opponent's computer crashes.
Yeah.
So, and like I've had games where I'm dead on board, and then literally my opponent, I guess, just walked away, assuming I would concede or something, and then they rope out and they lose. So, I mean,
Yeah.
not saying that's the angle you shoot for, but
I mean,
I do think
give it a
turn
turn, give it a
turn
draw.
0, yeah, like see what you draw the first couple turns, but also I guess mentally, if you're like, okay, even if I win this, like we don't know necessarily what Flavio's other deck they brought was. So
Yeah.
maybe that other matchup was just not one that they saw going their way either.
Yeah, it's tough, and sometimes sometimes you just got to save the mental. You just know, like my brain is now broken, and I cannot continue to play this game in a healthy mental state.
Yeah.
Um,
It was
but
free.
yeah,
It
I
was a
mean,
free entry tournament. I already scrubbed out of the open day one. Like we're just gonna enjoy the rest of my Sunday evening.
yep, there we go. Recoup. Um,
The voice from above is going to say right now, Elite is just making sure they didn't like accidentally surrender. I mean, ahead of time,
Oh,
they're
okay.
seeing what they're doing. I'm going to give them a quick minute on that. But if that doesn't happen, we're going to cover to Lenari. They're
Stand up
currently
guy
still-
from Elite.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what will happen because in this case, that if they have a bad hand and surrender, it's a pretty bad way to cheese the system.
Yeah.
So we're going to see. But like I said, if not, we're going to cover to Lenari here in a minute.
Okay.
and Lunari again is on Deep, Seraphine Jack, and Fizz Samira.
Good old
Looking
fish
at
and
their
chip damage.
Yeah, their fish and chip damage. Love it. That's great. Looking at their list, it doesn't. I have seen people actually running like the Jack spell and running a little bit more draw with I have Naga Kaboros. Keep more one ofs, easier to turbo level out your Jack Seraphine,
Mm.
level up your Seraphine. And
Actually,
obviously,
I was gonna say I like this Fizz Samira list is playing 3 copies of Inferno, which
all
I
right.
think is I feel like people aren't doing that as much, but like I'm always so impressed with Inferno when I play against it.
Wait, where did this Poro come from?
Coral creatures. It had to be right. Coral creatures making
Jailbreak. There we go. That makes sense.
solve the riddle.
Oh yeah, and we're just in time to see an absolutely busted card go off.
Hey, remember that conversation we had about All Out
Yeah, it's
right before the stream?
not okay. Not an okay card.
All the fair things that card does at burst speed.
Yeah. I +2/+2. Obviously you have to get the plunder trigger first, but you know,
Oh no,
there.
warning shot.
Yeah, it's when you have a deck that has with Samira, you always have an easy, cheap, plunder activator. I mean, you've got stylish shot that you're looking to use. I mean, it just blows people out because how do you play around 1 mana? People said that momentous choice at 1 mana +2/0 or plus +0/2 is busted. This is 1 mana +2/+2.
And I feel like the restriction is less restrictive.
Oh
You
yeah,
have
like
you have to play equipments. You have to play equipments. You have to basically, I mean, not waste a turn. Equipping equipment is not wasting a turn, but like versus dealing damage to their Nexus when you're already basically the burn deck. Like
yeah,
that's not
like
as big of a hoop to run through as do I develop a unit or do I equip something so I can use momentous choice.
exactly. And like, what if you could go in some of those Varus decks, like you can go, or even just I guess Ionia, you can go a long time without finding an improvised unit or an equipment that you actually want to run in your deck. So there can be a real cost. That can just sit in your hand and rot the whole game. Whereas All Out is equally valuable as half of it, from the get.
Still
And
pushes that damage, baby.
yep, that baseline, you're getting a +2/+0.
Definitely won games off the non-plunder All Out.
Absolutely.
Turns out elusive units with 2 extra attack are still strong.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Also Burblefish. That's kind of messed up that didn't get rotated. I thought they said they got rid of all the 0 cost units.
That
I see
card's
lots of 0 cost Burblefish.
Burblefish sure exists. I
Yeah.
don't think I even ever like really thought about that card before rotation happened, honestly. Like I just missed it. I think I only saw
Yeah.
it in what the perfect what's the card called? The big 2020, the subpercible.
Oh,
3030.
oh no, you're talking about. Are you talking about catastrophe?
Yeah, but I feel like that's the only time I've seen the Burblefish before that, and I never
Oh
ran into
man,
that deck
you
really.
you you missed out. That's a Drizzt. That's a Drizzt special. All right, so now it looks like we've got Bar
Ooh.
that we're.
Versus Quinn.
I would imagine this is not a good matchup. Oh, with BB on board though, that changes things. I think that the window for the Gwen player is narrowing.
I've just got such a soft spot for Quinn. It just does so many, very fun, very powerful things, while still
Um,
not feeling terribly imbalanced.
I
He's
wonder.
hesitating on the Quinn attack here.
I wonder what their Howard stacks are at, because you would imagine that she would be up at a high enough level that you've got the Foyer on board.
Let's see, it's
This may give it.
turn 5. I imagine we have 3 or 4, like 2 to 3. Okay, well we got 1.
One.
Ooh,
Yeah, so
that's
that
why
makes
we
the
didn't. I was
attack
like,
hand really awkward.
it does.
I imagine we may see a Cataclysm here, but I doubt that we ever get the chance. We could, because we could very easily with BB on board, we could very easily see coin into Mystic, which just kills our Gwen.
Is that
Or
2 coins?
even if it's just one, it'll create a keg first, so we could keg into High Note to kill her.
We wouldn't have the mana. Oh wait,
Well, the coin.
I'm
even if
having
it's
a moment.
one,
Yeah, coin is free. Coin is free.
coin is free. I will say, I guess we.
Oh
were
man,
saving
that's rough.
I guess we're saving the High Note to deal with a wider board later. But Mystic Shot goes face.
Goes face. Yeah, I would have liked high note there too.
Mhm.
We can't see how many spells they've cast to activate the high note yet, so it's possible that that's like very close to being online. But if it's not,
Right.
yeah, it's looking rough for Quinn.
Yeah, and I think you just probably snap.
Another BB.
Oh, I'm just so tempted to just snap shoot this. Oh, okay. Well, now for sure we'll have to see if High Note is on or not.
I feel like the out.
Nope.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
3 off.
I feel like the out for the Quinn player was having the dancers on 6 there. Like we needed something that was more powerful than what's happening right now.
Right.
Okay. I'm really missing that mystic shot right now.
Yeah. Or be nice if we could find ourselves one of our 3 caustic riffs.
Right.
Double BB on board, that would do some damage. Let's see if we 1, 2, 3. We could get to where High Note is online, but it would cost us basically all of our mana.
I mean, I'm looking at this board, and like depending on if my opponent, there we go, we got dancers. I was gonna say we might just be slamming bar here, depending on how this attack goes.
Yeah, but I think dancers has got to go yesterday.
Yeah, we can't, because that's gonna probably bring back. We haven't seen everything that's died, but I imagine that's bringing back Gwen, and we don't really want our opponent healing.
Nope. Yeah, double BB
There
on
we
board.
go.
Golly, just a 6 damage.
And get some
risky
points.
venture. I do love coins.
Mhm.
And so it's a 50. This is what I was thinking
Ooh.
about. It's a 50-50.
Oh,
And
unfortunate. I always miss with that card. It is never. I always get, and it's never even Valor. It always BMs me and gives me. It wasn't a 50-50. Well, yeah, no. It always gives me like one of the stupid ethereal ones.
we're just gonna end the game. Just
Oh, just casual, not line him up, knock him down.
No, I mean, our opponent tapped out, so we didn't have to worry about any interaction from their side, so we can just slam down and move on.
Line him
Didn't
up,
even need to
knock him
level
down.
Seraphine there.
It was 9 kegs.
I mean, they stack so fast. I mean, and if you ever get a Seraphine on board with that, like, it's easy to get to 20. Best thing of the game, 22 damage warning shot.
I can imagine that's satisfying.
Oh,
When it's like, I'm safe, I'm good. Like, I know they've leveled Seraphine. I'm a little worried about all these kegs building up.
well, and if you just look at their list, you have so many burst speed spells that you can use. You know, I mean, rummage, of course. You can rummage into time trick, into a coin, and that could be very easily be 6 spells that you've just doubled. So there's 12 kegs right there. You know, it it can get outrageous pretty
It is
quickly.
so many one ofs. Which I guess that's the
Yeah.
glory of Seraphine, right? Is you get to just play something like that.
I just a pile. Just
Yeah. Playing your commander deck.
all right. It looks like we're going to be swapping over to What Am I? Let's see. So we've got. I really like what Am I brought. He's got the just like what we were talking about earlier, splitting up the Samira from the Leona, bringing Diana instead, but maintaining that aggressive Noxus package. And then he's got Samira Varus with Riven Splash, and then Ash LeBlanc.
Trying to see if there's anything particularly crazy in that Ash LeBlanc list.
I don't know
Reckless
how I feel about
Trifarian.
Reckless Trifarian is a house, a 3 mana, 5/4. Not being able to block isn't a problem if your opponent is forced to block.
Very true. I do like not relying. I've been playing a bit of Ash LeBlanc on ladder, and the Trapper is strong when you get to go, turn 3 Trapper into turn 4 another 3-drop and the Yeti. But every other time I'm like, this is a 3 mana 3/3 for 3. Like, what am I doing with this? That's not advancing my
Yeah,
game plan with LeBlanc. It's not freezing things with Ash. It's not really killing them. Can't attack profitably into a lot of things. Similarly, I like the one Ice Veil Archer because there's like almost never a world where I want to play him on 2 anyway.
right. I do like the Darkened Spear, and there are a lot of ratios you can play with here. I see that he's on triple elixir, double here to help. I like Darkened Spear because it's always valuable. You're either buffing your units, making it so that you can throw down Trifarian Assessor and she adds to the draw count, or a late game you can have Anaka, which is going to draw you other cards. And if sometimes you high roll and you pull an Incisive Tactician and the game just says, all right, you win.
And let's see here. Who are we playing? We are against
Go. And it looks like Go is on Ash LeBlanc,
Harmaset.
Harmaset. So they are
The
our
classic
brave
matchup.
Harmaset player. And they also brought Annie Caitlin. So we'll have to, curious to see what they ban, but what are you keeping here? Or what are you pitching? Because I think this is,
Interesting.
I thought wrong.
Yeah, I would have kept the 2-drop too, just because to turn it sideways. But I guess it's fragile. Just dies to Caustic Rift. And
Yeah, that's fair.
maybe we're thinking of it too much as a 2 mana 5 damage beat stick. But maybe the angle they're looking at it here, maybe one of my thinking of it more as like removal. And there's nothing really to remove 90% of the time against the Harmaset.
Yeah, that's fair. And what I would want to look for is like our some of our value, like, I mean, it would have been nice to have Omen Hawk early, of course.
Yeah, always. That's our baby.
Yeah, Hearthguard, but Ash, if we can.
Hawk into Hawk is always just so strong.
Hawk into Hawk is great. Yeah, I think we just slam Ash here. Surprised. I guess they still have the mana for Palm.
This should be fun.
Yeah. Palming Ash. just stopping as much damage as possible.
Honestly, with the freeze there, I think I'd be willing to take the 3 damage if I'm on Gogo's side, but
I probably would be willing to as well, but I don't think not taking it is. I don't think it's wrong,
yeah.
but I definitely am in the same boat where I would have probably taken the damage.
Okay, well,
Ooh,
there we go. Being able to
there's
get the Yeti out this turn is huge.
that's such a good draw. I mean, it was a 50-50 to draw that, but
Interesting play going for the. I would drag the Ash here. I mean,
maybe
because now,
he's probably worried about too many of those instant speed buffs, right?
well, even if they does that, like it would be the same attacking either, and Set would gain barrier if they went above. So no matter what they add,
I think
but
they were
now
just
we're
trying to
getting
take
both
something off
in.
the board, yeah. And maybe banking that your opponent is not going to waste a buff spell to save that Assessor.
That makes sense.
Still
Ooh,
doesn't feel great, though.
Doesn't feel great taking 8 to the face. That should be 2 reputation counters that we've got. 2
Should
more.
be 3 total, right?
3.
Because Ash attacked last turn.
Ash got palmed.
Right. Thank you. She did attack.
Did attack.
She did not deal damage.
Oh, that's a
God.
big boy. Yep, see, and you get a buff on that Reckless Rifarian. So I guess we do get the second attack out of here.
And we're just going to replay a bigger Ash.
That's a big Ash.
I'm
And
not sure
next
you're allowed
turn
to
we'll
say
be
that on
able to-
broadcast.
Oh no. I've already broken the rules.
How are we getting past 6 toughness, 5 toughness creatures? Just double. I guess we
think
got the set spell in hand,
if
but
they develop, we can face breaker, but outside of that, it's just an open swing because we'll be able to, assuming nothing happens, we'll be able to develop an incisive technician at 6 mana.
Yeah. Nothing more awkward than looking at your hand with all the coins and spells and realizing you might have to start doing the math even without karma in play.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, how do I have to play this hand fairly? What does it do?
I mean, not a lot right now.
We have what? We have like 4 or 5 coins, right?
We've played 2 pits, and the 5 mana draw, so we should be at 4.
We've played the healer too.
Yeah, so
I couldn't remember if we played the 5 mana draw. Okay, we got karma, but tactician, like
so we have to stun Ash. We have to
do a lot
yeah,
with very
question
little.
is, depending on like how much mana we'd spent, it could have been a face breaker angle using the using our 6 mana draw, our formula.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like I might have cast formula first, but I didn't actually have a chance to do the math on that.
We are still very dead. Even though Ash is stunned, her effect still keeps us from blocking and takes it down.
That's how that matchup is supposed to go, right? Like that's why everyone started playing so much Ash LeBlanc was the karma set
very
started
close.
tearing people up on the ladder.
I think it's very close, but it's tilted. Like if Ash LeBlanc gets on the board, it's very difficult to deal with those buffed units. We can very easily handle the small stuff, but you get a 7, a 3 mana 7/5 on board. We don't have an effective way to deal with that.
And now we have the mirror.
Raise your 3 mana unit.
So it looks like what am I banned Annie Caitlyn and the Riven Samira Varus deck was also banned.
Now I will say this matchup should be very much in favor of the Leona deck.
I'm looking at the 3/3 and the 1/1 on turn 1 too. So looking at the stat differential there is
Yeah, that's, you know what? It's like old Zoe decks. How do they always manage to have the 1/1, the the 1 mana 3/3 on turn 1?
Oh
Ooh,
man, that's. We get to do that into either of the. Oh, disgusting. Now I'm
yeah,
definitely okay. Yeah,
yep. And
birds, bird up.
oh, that's
That's good, but
yeah,
we still just crash, don't we?
yeah. I mean, we're gonna take pretty much guaranteed gonna take 9 damage here. You know, it's
Yeah.
and that's. I will say, looking at Whatami's hand, he is running a little low on gas.
We're gonna draw Leon.
There we go. Good players. Good players. Do
Yep,
good
it's
things.
the called shot, baby. It never
Yeah.
fails.
The best
Oh
lives are
man.
beautiful.
I meant we were gonna draw Leona. For what it's worth, if I had had a chance to finish that sentence, I meant we were gonna draw Leona after playing the Ravun. Like,
The dawn has
I didn't think we were gonna draw it on 5, but you know.
See, this is the Whatami differential. You know,
Skill diff, yeah.
yeah, just 100% skill diff. You know, good players draw Leona on curve.
It's true. I mean, if you look at the stats, people that win.
So if we're looking at Gogo's hand here, what are our options to survive? We've got 11 health, and they're going to have. We've got 2 blockers, and we do have a brittle steel, which Pigeon will be out of range of. We also have a bloody business.
I like bloody business. Oh, let's play another big boy.
Play another big boy.
I mean, that's probably the angle we're looking at here. We were looking at how do we survive, and I think Gogo is looking at like if there's any chance of me winning this game. I think developing that 5/6 and buffing your whole deck is gonna be critical because now hopefully if you draw another 5 power guy, maybe there's a chance of you getting to bloody business Leona.
Yeah. We do still have 2 5/5s on board. And
Oh
now
yeah,
that
I forgot Leona's taking a ton of it. Every time I've played Leona on 5, she's already had barrier.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have a way to deal with this.
Spicy.
Yeah, that is how you can.
Do you fervor in response to kill the button?
No.
You guys are dying anyway.
You are going to take 10 damage.
Ooh, this is turning a little bit quicker than I thought it would, but I mean that's the matchup, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and now that he's got reputation turned on, it's going to be very difficult to deal with the bloody businesses because it's just going to be so cheap. I would have
100% of it, yeah.
considered fervoring there, but with the 2-mana card and with them having a little bit of an awkward hand, we've got to think that they've got spells prepped for this.
True.
True.
Back heretic.
I think we're going to see here to help to maintain board here. Into rally shenanigans.
Oh man, this rally is gonna be so brutal.
I think that if we're
Ooh.
I might have gone Ravun first, but I guess you can also. That's a 7/7. That's a big
So
boy.
we block the 7/7 and then we. Oh yeah, okay.
So we can. Now they will be able to frostbite.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about the frostbite. I would fervor the 7/2. I'm not worried about putting damage on his 7/7.
The thing is, how do we win? Now, what we know is that with this damage on our charger, they can frostbite into bloody business to pop spell shield and then in the game. Or they're just gonna let it go, which is pretty dangerous considering that we've got some chunky board.
Like, am I tripping? That card is deal 3 to your guy and then deal 3 to any target, correct?
Yep, that is.
I haven't forgotten what that card does. So we're playing a game of chicken here, where we expect him to have bloody business.
Yeah.
And we have to have a unit that we know will live through bloody business, or we have to respond to a bloody business.
Hmm.
All the
Oh man,
world
I do not have that
on
kind
an
of patience,
arrow.
and that's why I don't get the big bucks.
Yeah.
I would have made him have it. I would have made it have it. I would have thrown this match immediately, General.
Oh no. Um. So we've got. Oh,
Ooh.
awesome. Drew, just if that had been a second
Dawn
Diana, I
has
think we're in a lot of
arrived.
trouble.
With
But
its light,
having
the
the
Solari will unite
Leona
the
here
heavens. Glorious light
lets us stun the
rains
Ash
down.
so that they don't get the additional frostbite.
We
And they
also
can
have a very
only
safe fervor now.
that we do. We could, unless they have double bloody business, we can just. I mean, and going next turn is great too because we can just play Sun Guardian and
And now they have the double
continually
bloody
stun their whole board.
business. That's very funny though that now they drew into double bloody.
Even then, double bloody, it
Doesn't do it.
with
Blessed
barrier, it doesn't
daylight
do it.
surrounds you.
Okay, now there's no world we don't just fervor in response. Right? I guess we can
Yeah,
still
we
just
just
attack for
fervor
the
our
kill.
Leona because there's no way for them to kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very well played from one of mine. We thought
Yeah.
that Fervor was going to turn the corner on them there, but a timely Leona.
Mhm. That was a wild game. Some very, very impressive patience displayed.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes.
That reckoning could have been devastating for.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, that was very close to winning the game for him, and honestly, a little bit of luck with that Britain and Stars. That could have very easily because we'd already drawn one Leona, one Diana, so it's very much
50,
a
50, yeah.
50-50, you know. But what did we say before? Good players draw good cards.
Better lucky than good, baby.
Yep.
A little bit of both
And one
doesn't
of
hurt.
mine is both.
Yeah. Wow.
But
I'm still just got to think so much because I very rarely, I mean, obviously, you very rarely get to see a game of Runeterra where you can see all the cards, right? Where you know what they have. Like, and if you're someone like me that always just like runs into it, makes them have it, it's like, okay, sure, that can win you some of the games, but it's important to think about as well, like that next step. Yeah, if I make them have it and they don't have it, I win. But if I make them have it and they do, does this lose me the game? And if I don't play this, the third step is if I don't play this, if I don't do anything, if I don't act right now, am I dead? Can I win without doing this play that wins me the game on the spot? And if the
right.
answer is you can afford to wait, you should always, not always, but a lot of the time the answer is just to wait.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
sometimes
especially,
waiting, they're going to draw into something better and they're going to blow you out. But, you know,
I mean, I guess looking from one of my perspective, going into having priority on your attack token with Leona and Ravoon, you play your second Ravoon, and all of a sudden, like you're stunning their stuff, so the rally doesn't matter. You're presenting lethal. They're at 3 health, and if you're able to stun 2 targets, they're not going to be able to develop enough with 2-3 cards in your hand, which 2 of which you're pretty sure are spells.
yeah.
So you're
But they'd
just
already be out.
yeah, and you're just slowly tightening it down
Tightening
so they
that
get
news,
in.
yeah.
Also, we're on to a match with Lunari and Slain. So it looks like a probably Nora Vigar with Slain.
We're denying that darkness buff.
Yep, it is a Nora Senna Vigar.
Or yeah, that sounds about right. That's
so a
Senna.
single
Senna does a lot of lifting.
Senna can be very strong. If you, especially once you get your darkness up. I mean, Nora is primarily here for stall. We're looking to win with darkness, but
I was about to say, is there a world we just tag out Seraphine here? Yeah.
they would have to have another fast speed response. They could have hate spike, or they could have a second pie toss, but hate spike, of course, risks losing to make it rain, caustic, mystic shot. There's just too many answers that Lunari could have in hand to take that line.
Got to make them have it, right? Even though, as we could see, Lunari, in fact, has all of it.
I think this is. I'd be very tempted to slam down a jack here.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, just start getting in there.
Get our coin. It's very difficult for them to have an effective blocker for this. at 5 mana. I think it's pretty much just okay. We go for the BB instead.
Or BB.
Poor BB losing out to that Soul Harvest. You know, 2 mana for their 4 mana. You know, keynote card is kind of good.
Is it just me, or did they just like reuse the asset on Soul Harvest?
Oh, what do you mean? This is completely new art.
Like, I was definitely tripping for a minute. Like I was like, wait a minute, that's not what that
No,
card does.
It's definitely new culling strike.
The knife is spooky now.
It's a spooky knife. It's kind of like new SI Sentry.
Yes. Everything is a Shadow Isles card if you think hard enough. Well, I mean, eventually everything is a Shadow Isles card, right? We all die eventually.
Yeah, that's fair. You know, I did not expect to see as much Shadow Isles here. 'Cause I felt like it had been pretty quiet on ladder. Although, of the ones that are available, it seems like Vigar is the flavor of the month.
The changes to Quietus have made Shadow Isles feel a little bit unwieldy.
Yeah, losing.
Like-
I mean, and honestly, losing Vile Feast has been huge. You know, instead of
Yeah,
being
I
able
didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Yeah.
Oh, you're fine. It's just I never really realized how. I mean, it is a very powerful card because in the aggro matchup, you could eliminate an attacker and create a blocker all in one action. You know, and it's healing you a little bit, which can make things really awkward for the opponent. And now
was
you
such
just
an-
don't have that answer.
It was such an innocuous card. Like I really did not realize how much I was gonna miss it. Like putting it in decks when it was legal, I was like, yeah, I guess we're playing Vile Feast. We're just gonna have a ping. It's whatever. And now that you don't have it, it's just like, what do I do when my opponent has all these O1s in play?
Well, it's kind of
I've
like
got slow speed Quietus, and Quietus not being able to kill like Azir, Quietus not being able to kill, Heimerdinger, things that it used to just. It's like, hey, just kill that, just get it.
oh, don't
and
worry,
we got the
Ride
bar.
already killed Azir. Oh wow, what a hit though.
Oh,
You know, I feel kind of sad wasting the elusive tag on Abyssal Eye, but is what it is.
it's a
We do
pretty
have
big development. Yeah.
We do have efficient answers to this, though. I mean, because they're going to have to drag our barkeep, and we can pretty easily just, yeah. So now we've even got an additional blocker for free. I love free cards.
Me too. I'm a big fan.
Wow, we just be hitting portals out here.
Right? Where was this energy from Nora when I was laddering with that deck?
Yep. So we just take the caustic. We'll take 3 damage. They'll draw a card. Have to see how close to deep they are. Although without let's see,
We're a
so
ways away.
cards, yeah. Without the deep accelerate, without Sea Scarab on board, it can be kind of difficult to get through. Yep, just drum solo.
Oof.
Zero mana Mystic Shot just feels like cheating. Oh wait,
Yeah.
and this is not even a deep. You know what? I totally flipped. We're not even playing deep.
No, he got that off the Jaw Hunters.
Yep.
So that's what I was saying. We're a little bit of ways. I mean, he could, I guess, cast a bunch of the portal card, the Mystic Portals, and just draw two, and get there. But realistically, we were fine just getting an elusive guy that draws us some extra cards.
Yeah. I'm really
man,
curious what hand looks like from.
Slain? Yeah.
I
We've
mean, do
only
we
seen
have
one
Vigar
darkness card.
if we're- Are we okay giving up all this mana? Like, what are we playing?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and what are we just trying to play around? I mean, at this point, we've given them so much mana that we have to play around BB.
Another
there
Soul
goes-
Harvest.
There goes the second one. Little
there a
do they
world where
know-
Is there a world where you predict to try and draw the tag out to save BB? I know we have another BB. We don't need to save this BB. But just for the rub-ins.
The thing is, we can't have tag out. Tag out is an Ionia card.
That was great.
We
Now
cast the tag out earlier.
We might have created one from set. We played Seraphine. It must have been the created card.
Oh my god. What a card to get. I totally didn't even notice that.
I mean, I think here we just glimpse.
Yeah. I guess we're trying to get a little bit of value out of the Seraphine first.
Yeah, we gotta get what you can. I think Sputtering's not a bad pick. Rummage is even better.
Yeah, well, we're only going to get one of these, right? Because of the double predict. So we're
Oh,
gonna
no,
get...
no, no. So we're drawing these now. It's predict, then draw. So
Yeah, but it
we're
doesn't
gonna-
predict. So we're going to get
Nope.
both. I haven't seen this
Yeah.
interaction, actually.
we're gonna get both. And it looks like he skipped on that.
Okay.
So
For some reason, my brain was, we predict one to the top, and then we shuffle the deck, predict a new one to the top, and then draw two.
Yeah. So I guess we just didn't want the rummage there. I guess with, having... Oh, well, there it is anyways.
What do you discard? Our hand is nuts.
That's up. I would consider discarding the 1 mana discard. Deal 1 to Nexus.
Mhm.
But I guess by the same token, that's face damage.
Interesting.
We do
I mean,
have...
I guess that's a versatile card, I guess, with 13 mana available almost.
I think we just cast Caustic here, or
Yeah, I can't think of situations where Caustic is going to do much more good.
yeah, because I mean, I guess if we get BB on board, it can kill
True.
everything.
I'm not thinking about the BB angle. It's on me.
I think our best bet here is to open swing, get our 2 damage, and unless they roll an elusive, and they do not. Yep, open swing. We could, depending on what they do, we could wait a turn because watch them get another soul harvest off of this conchologist. That would just seem right.
So pretty.
This is the no BB deck.
Now looking at
This card's our lowest card. That could be anything. All our cards are free.
so the problem is with no burst, without our warning shot.
Oh, there we go.
They do have some
Slow
interaction. Wow.
So we just need him to tap out, basically.
Yeah, it's tough because I think they've played both pie tosses, but they've created a new card with Conchologist, and they still have hate spikes in the deck. So without a burst speed card, they can interact with our kegs, although we could also layer our spells to ensure that we're getting...
Yeah. Like play one Mystic Shot to bait out the removal, and then layer another Mystic Shot on top.
Exactly.
I've walked into that, and not too proud to say I've walked into that one a couple of times. Like, well, I'm just gonna kill their kegs, and it's like, no, you're not.
So let's see. So they've played 2 Soul Harvest, so unless they've generated 1, they should be out. They may have another Vengeance. They've drawn... Yep.
Oh, another Vengeance.
So with them being at 2 mana, I think now we have to
Just go for it.
You gotta go. And I think we I mean, gosh, I think you
Rummage, get rid of the
you gotta get rid of the
Explorate?
Sunspinner and the Explorate.
yeah.
Or you could get rid of that too now that you've cast. Because the Aftershock is not going to do anything for you, so I'd say Hexplorate and the Aftershock. Draw your 2 cards. Oh, Seraphine, we've been
Oh,
nice to see earlier.
No spells is awkward.
It's tough. Putting them at 6 is good.
Yeah, we got Seraphine.
And they've played they've played at least 2 Vengeances now. Double up. Got them at 4.
Unfortunately, Mystic Shot's no longer new.
We do have and that's a doubled up.
That
It's
is
doubled up.
That's
They
legal.
have no lifesteal available to them. That's game. Wow.
What a draw! The goat.
Life be like that sometimes.
Yeah. Man. I like the moment there where it was, oh man, they got the mystic or the warning shot a turn too late, and it's like still fine, still
Yep.
good. They're at 4.
Seraphine does Seraphine things,
Yeah.
and once again, no fast. I mean, with no fast speed healing available, that's just nothing you can do. You have limited ways to interact with the kegs, and even if they had, with them tapping as low as they did, it just gave us the go ahead to say, "Hey, I'm going to stack 1,000,000 kegs and shoot you in the face."
We didn't see a single champion out of Slane's deck, did we?
I do not believe so. No Noras, no Vigars, not even that lonely Senna making her way to the board.
Which is a
Which,
shame because they hit every portal, so that Nora would have been popping off.
oh, she would have been.
Like
Oh, good.
imagine the difference of that game if instead of a couple of tutus that can't block, we got some big old meaty stats on the board.
Oh yeah. I mean, we definitely, I think, low rolled on that just a bit, but I mean, and even with our extra draw with Abyssal Eye, like I think that the bottom, 6 cards were all champions.
It's how it be sometimes.
Yeah, and
It's very
especially
unfortunate.
was that turn 11, turn 12 that we were on. I mean, to go that many draws too.
Oh, it was we were well past turn 10. Like
No Decinata. Although depending on, I don't think we really got any darkness procs either off of our catalyzer. So
the only catalyzer we saw was high noted immediately.
yeah. So with the darkness value being that low, we really needed to stick a Vigar on the board and force them to use those mystic shots and removal spells on our Vigar. And we were able to efficiently remove 2 BBs, but that third one coming down is tough to deal with.
I was about to say, this is fast paced. We're chugging along.
Boom, boom, boom. We're just waiting to get set up for our next match, see who's going to be on the board. Seen some really great plays. I mean, and even with us having perfect information, like we look at and trying to play from the player's perspective. Sometimes we say, "Oh, I take this line, I take this line," and then they do something completely different, just throws us off and says, "Oh, that's how you win."
Yeah, they're playing around this, and that's not even something I would have considered here. I'm looking at the board. I'm like, I have Noxian Fervor. They are at 3. Like, we're just going for it. It's like, no.
I'm doing simple math. 3 minus 3 equals a win.
Yeah, we take those plays, but clearly that's not what you want to do. There's a difference too in like the kind of plays that you would make on ladder when that's one out of however many games you want to sit down and play that day. Versus if you're playing in a tournament, a single elimination tournament at that, where every play really counts. That play can be make or break. Winning that particular matchup can be make or break for that round. It warrants really slowing down and thinking about, hey, what are my optimal plays? What am I playing around? What does my opponent need to draw to win? What does my opponent think I might have in hand? What can I bluff?
Yeah.
What can I represent?
Oh, and sometimes, depending on your matchup spread, you may say, this is really I've got this is a 45-55, but my next matchup will be 30-70. If I don't win this, I've effectively lost a set. So you
So I just
really
gotta
have to
go for it. Yeah.
You have to take that time and be like, okay, I need to win, recognize your win and your lose conditions. But no,
Sometimes you're playing not to lose. Yeah.
and sometimes you got to stall a little bit, but playing not to lose doesn't always win. That's I feel like we're getting very much into sports ball. You have to if you score more points than the opponent, you win the game.
That is ultimately how it breaks down. Yeah. If you draw your good cards, if you reduce them to 0 before, I can't tell you how many times I've caught myself saying, as long as I don't die this turn, I'm fine. It's like, well, yeah, that is technically every single turn of the game. But it'll be like, I've got all these cards. I've got it all lined up. As long as they don't have lethal here, we're good.
Yep. Got Karma on board, and it's turn 10. I'm going to play 1,000,000 mana's worth of cards, and my opponent is going to drown in my value.
It's so funny sometimes. Like, and I'm right there with these people, but like, I feel like oftentimes the correct play against Karma on 10 is you wait and see if they play draw 2, add 2 coins. If they play that, you concede.
Yeah.
If they don't play that, you can stick around and see, because there've definitely been games with Karma set where they stick the Karma on turn 10, but they've already used all their gas because you've put so much pressure on them. But it's just, I don't know. Sometimes it's you're playing the Karma set and you're like, why aren't they conceding? It's like, hey, maybe they haven't somehow they haven't seen this before. They're
I
sticking around
will
to see what you got. They want to see you. They want to make sure you know how to play your deck. What's the
I will
storm count?
always give them the opportunity to hand me the game back. You know,
Yes.
I recognize if I'm playing against, if I'm playing against what am I, Majin Aikado, like yes, I have lost right at that moment. And to be honest, I'm never playing that game because I banned it. I don't care what the other matchups are. I'm not playing against their Karma set. It will only end badly for me. Um,
When the deck is more reliant, like if a matchup is skill based, the correct play is to ban it if you think that they're the better player. If it's a matchup where it's like Ash LeBlanc, yeah, there's skill involved, but it's also like, hey, the beautiful thing about card games is you can beat players that are better than you. 100% of the time. It can happen. Like those matchups, even the best players only have like a 60 something percent win rate usually in card games. They just know how to eke out those extra advantages, and that matters. But hey, sometimes you still draw 1 drop into 2 drop into 2 3 drop, and they draw the handful of equipment and burst spells, and they can't do
yeah.
anything. So you definitely gotta go for it.
So
Okay, so
we're
we're getting
gonna.
back to Lunari.
All right. Well, good thing I closed those deck lists. Let's see.
Maokai Not, Jack Seraphine, and Fizz Samira. And I think last time we got to see them on Fizz Samira and Jack Seraphine.
Let's see. We'll have to see who their opponent is. I. It's one of those things like people think that this Fisamira deck is beatable, and they keep on playing into it, and then when they get blown out on 5, they just said, "Oh, they got the nuts." Like they just got a crazy hand. I feel like around that turn, every hand with Fisamira is crazy. You
Yeah,
have Shelly, you have Inferna. Like you are going to draw,
so
I
many
think,
cards.
a
I
billion
like
cards.
I really like coral creatures. I think my list doesn't play coral creatures, and I think that's probably just wrong. But I'm also, what do you think about heavy metal in the Samira Fizz list?
I think because it
The
depends on
card
how much
is
equipment you think is going to be around. Um, really, with the only equipment deck being, gosh, I guess Aatrox Bane. I mean, if you want to tech for that, I guess there is the Allow J4 deck that's running Eye of God and Barnacles. Um,
Barnacles, but aside, that's such a. I read that like 6 times. I was like, that's the greatest card name.
oh yeah, phenomenal favorite. Um, I don't know if I like it. I guess it is an answer to Samira to force them to have the all out, and I mean, depending on like their mana, they may not be able to do that. But most of the time, the good Samira player is not going to drop her
Without
in
protection,
3.
yeah.
Yeah,
My problem with
so
heavy metal is like when heavy metal is good, that card is nuts. But heavy metal, A, doesn't go face, so it doesn't trigger plunder. And it's like I caught myself in my initial list when I was playing heavy metal. I caught myself just letting myself skill issue myself by keeping heavy metal in a matchup where I'm like, all right, oh, I'm in the Samira mirror, or they're playing Nora. Like, I'm going to keep heavy metal so I can answer their turn to Nora. And it's like, if you mulligan that heavy metal away, or if you're just, playing a different card to begin with, you could just kill them. Like,
yeah,
you don't need to worry. You don't need to be worried about their board and fighting for board. You're playing elusive units and going face.
right.
Simple
And
game plan.
I would be okay with. I think 3 is pretty heavy. I mean,
Yeah.
especially if we're now down to one
One
warning.
warning shot.
I mean,
Yeah.
and we're also on triple barb chain. We don't have as many plunder activators as I would like.
I think if
Um,
you're playing triple Inferna, if you're playing triple Inferna and triple Barb Chain, you've got to play triple Warning Shot.
yeah, like you need those to be active. I mean, like you do. Yes, if you don't draw Samira now, like you basically just said, these cards are almost dead in hand. I mean, we do have triple pirouette, um, but
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to be using that to activate plunder because then I'm losing out on the value, the cost reduction there.
I also just feel like heavy metal being a slow spell, like pirouette is so strong that we're fine with it being slow. But heavy metal being slow also is just awkward interactions with things like Shelly.
Right.
You know,
It's really
with things like trying to trigger Samira's level up or her rally effect, or even Fizz.
yeah. It seems like it's really only good in like a very equipment heavy meta.
Mm. Honestly, I usually forget about that line of text. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like, there's been 2 or 3 times where I've cast heavy metal and it blows up their equipment. I'm like, hey, right, it's not just 2 damage for 2 mana.
Oh yeah. I've definitely been blown out by all right, there we go. So it looks like
Samira Fizz
and right.
against Leona
So-
Riven. Ooh, Leona Riven.
Oh yeah, there we go. This is what we were talking about
Talking
before.
about it earlier. Yeah, the Leona Riven deck with just 2 Rune Squires.
Yeah. I mean, of the ones to run, I feel like that adds the most value because now you have a challenger unit to deal with the enemy board and possibly a quick attack.
Look at this beautiful opening Samira hand.
Oh yeah. That's
Are you a Fizz on 1? Okay, I'm a Fizz on 1 guy too.
yeah.
So I know a lot of people do the you wait until turn 3 to play anything, just so you have the 3 spell mana, you have all the tricks available.
I
Your
will
opponent
say
has to respect everything.
Fizz with Stylish Shot is just unfair.
It certainly is a combo of cards.
It is not an okay. It is not okay. I'll say I very much like the idea of Stylish Shot.
Stylish Shot into
Swing with
Father
Fizz.
Fury.
Yeah,
This hand is,
Stylish Shot
oh
and
my
Ball.
god, this hand is so... You couldn't ask for a better Samira Fizz hand. This is like if you were trying to do a video essay on why Samira Fizz needs to be nerfed.
this is gonna be bonkers. Like now, I will say,
I might have swung with the Samira there.
To serve the greater good.
yeah,
We had all out, we had it plundered. And I feel like our opponent would have just let us do it.
yeah. We also have the
Oh, that's
that is
unfortunate.
interesting because Plunder is a play effect, not a summon effect, so we don't get the +1/+1
Yeah.
on our butcher there. I mean, at the same time, like we don't really care too much about this damage. I think we just deal 1 and take our Father Fury and level our Samira.
You can even plunder. Yeah. I mean, not plunder, swindle. Swindle is active.
Yep. I mean, we can swindle for
We can get
for the
we
level
can
up.
get might. We can get might off the
Oh my
swindle.
god. If
It's
we
like
can get my Reforge is good too.
yeah, pretty much all good hits.
Yeah.
Like even the little saboteur would be fine. Oh, never mind.
And, I mean, now it's even more consistent. So,
There's like just the smallest chance.
oh
Okay.
yeah, I think that's pretty much an easy like might take right there.
Beautiful and
Definitely.
brutal. Just how I like it.
And I mean, if we can trade anything here, sure. But otherwise, I think I'm pretty down to just take the damage. You know, swing with our elusives. I
We can even
with
do a little
Stylish
bit.
Shot,
We can even do a little bit better than a trade. We could technically all out like Samira and just grab another flare.
Vices. A few
Yeah.
more.
You just eat one of their guys.
Well, I was gonna say, so we're looking at 6,
Make the
8,
Empire proud.
11, plus 12. So if we do nothing, if we just swing with our elusives and use all those next turn, we've got perfect lethal.
I'm sorry, I'm a little offended right now. Did you just do math for the Samira Fizz deck?
Yeah, sorry. I should have
You
just
don't-
said swing.
You don't just swing and then cast all your burst cards? I thought that's
They
what you
have
were supposed to
nothing
do.
to-
Interesting for
They have nothing to punish us here with. Like, I would honestly, yeah, just block with
This is
the Samira.
perfect, yeah.
Block with the Samira, and you get a free flare. So now we've got extra damage. I don't think that there's the only answer they could have is Noxian Fervor. We also
Don't
have
we-
the,
Don't we also have enough mana and cards to just... We're going to get to rally this turn, too, assuming
Yeah.
we didn't just already have enough.
yeah, this is
Oh
pretty well game. Like we Stylish Shot, swing.
So you don't like developing the werewolf fish?
No.
Because then you just
we
get
have
Leona.
lethal and they don't have an answer. Because if they play Leona, we're gonna lose the attacker. Although I guess the attacker that now we'll lose our Fizz because it is not hurt. Leona's ability is not targeted technically at Fizz.
Mm.
So now we're losing our lethal. Although we still have the same amount with the verbal fish, so we still have 6. 8. We can't
super
swing with,
lethal.
yeah,
It's super lethal. We have might and we have all out,
and we'll get our stylish shot back.
and we'll get another flare. Like, we just had. That's why I was saying. I was like, did you do math? Because like all the math, the numbers don't lie. It's still disaster for
Yeah,
him.
there's like no way. I was worried that we could get punished with the develop because of it targeting our Fizz, but we have 1,000,000 damage in hand.
Like the discipline of not casting the all out there in case your opponent has like what, a 1 mana answer somehow.
Yeah.
Wow. Samira Fizz, baby. Still got
Samara
it.
Fizz should have. There were some awkward games that I had yesterday in the Open where I thought, you know what, I'm gonna ban the Leona deck and leave up the Samira Fizz. Regretted it every time. And there was.
I feel like that's just how it always happens when you're making your bans though. Like you look at their lineup and you're like, all right, they've got Karma Set and Fizz Leona.
Yeah.
No matter which one, they're gonna nut you on the other. Like it's
just they can have very strong hands. Let's see.
they're on their Fizz Samira deck. Fizz Samira versus Deep. What a interesting hand for Deep. I think we just get rid of the jettisons. I mean, I know going deep is very important, but like I think we got to get some guys on board too. Maybe we keep one jettison. I could be convinced to keep one jettison.
We've got the lifesteal unit.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Yeah, but I'm with you. There we go. I think finding Scarab is way better.
Definitely.
You just go 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm. Love counting.
Losing the undergrowth hurts a little bit, but
yeah, definitely one of the better. Oh, definitely one of the better cards in this matchup.
Deck said you missed this.
Like, don't worry, I got you, homie. 3-4 damage.
Yep.
Deep has looked at the matchup and decided it is the aggro deck.
Yeah.
Who's the beatdown? Who's the beatdown, baby? It's me. Look at the sea monsters.
So I wonder if you ever take the ping and use your. So the line that I was looking at was Warning Shot, Father Fury, drag Sea Scarab to slow down their progression.
Oh, and would you have buffed like all out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, now we randomly can still. Oh no, we already used our drag. We used flare already. I was like, because we got that. We got the prize fight. Oh, undergrowth though. Steal their undergrowth.
Is undergrowth going to do enough for us? I mean, I guess it can threaten it, like if we strike, but we can't swing with Samira here anymore. I mean, I guess we can. We have all out, but we don't want to progress their deep either, because they would just block with dredgers. Yep, having to cash in the all out anyways. So we can level Samira here though.
Pretty early level for Samira too, yeah.
We've also got the option to prize fight next turn.
I was gonna probably prize fight to level Samira. That was gonna be part of my. Oh, but now it's just warning shot into Father Fury. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Father Fury gives us another 1-drop. Samira's gonna give us that player. We've got a Shelly in hand.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get spicy. Yeah, I mean, and
I hate it when I get that card off Father Fury so much.
Oh yeah.
It starts a free attack with all those lurkers in my deck. Like
Yep.
all I can say about that card is it costs 1 for Shelly and Samira.
Yeah. The worst part is that it just bricks your next hand. I mean, I, maybe I'm cursed, but I feel like I always end up getting Jettison and
Yeah. Maybe it's like every
What?
time I play Father Fury, I'm like, surely there's more one-cost spells.
This should be fun.
Like I'm just getting the same 2 every time. I was like, all out exists. Give me all out.
oh yeah. Ooh. Yep.
That
So
is
uh, uh,
unfortunate.
yeah, I mean it's a punish for not developing Shelly, but I mean we didn't have any spells to play, so
Still
it
feels
actually
bad,
wouldn't have
man.
really mattered.
And now when we develop Shelly, he's just gonna eat Shelly too. Oh, so we're not. So we're not developing Shelly.
No, I don't
Laying
think
around the.
especially going into turn 6.
He's gonna eat it. Yeah, the anglerfish.
And I think opponent just holds on to Angler. Like,
For Shelly or Samira.
mm-hmm. Although
Yeah.
with prize fight, we have a way to deal with it.
True. That always feels so bad as the deep player. It's like eat something with less health, and they're like, "How much health that thing have again?"
Yep.
Let's check real quick.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, we'd have to prize fight something obviously not the Shelly.
Probably our Plunder Boy in the middle.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, like technically, you could have also done it to any of our 2-1s, and then the 2-1s just don't lose any health.
right.
But I mean, I'm probably just I'm tempted to cast the Lurk card.
Yeah, but it's just so bad.
It's so bad, but like I want to be casting 2 spells with Shelly every turn I can. But I think you're right, and I think that's just overly greedy. Just doing the double burst.
Yep.
So he's gonna eat one of our 3/2s, and he's gonna take 9 because he's gonna heal for 2.
Yeah, and after that, he can play Megatusk. I wonder how far away our deep player is.
He's there.
One away from deep. So he could play it this turn and get the heal next turn, but he
And
can also
just-
just play Nautilus and get the same effect, and save the mana. Just not-
Mm, that's very true. That just feels BM. I know we have a Shelly in play, but I know, and like it's not like Quietus can hit anything else at this point. But like, when's the
I
last
will
time you saw
say-
somebody use removal on little Coral Baby? Like he's like, hey,
Poor buddy.
I'm a 1/3. What did I do to you?
Are we gonna be able to represent enough damage to force him to block? Because we are dying next attack. It looks like.
Yeah, I think there was a pretty strong argument to maybe we should have played the Tusk last turn.
Well, we have to. I think we are forced to play Nautilus this turn since we're deep. We'll be able to play Megatusk for free and heal ourselves. We'll have to swing, and they'll block Nautilus at least with the Butcher, but we're only representing 9-14 damage, and so now we're looking at 20. But they've got 2 blockers. It just doesn't matter that much. Interesting.
Just getting the Shelly buffs, I guess.
I think from the Samira side, you just
Slam the 7.
yeah, you could do that. Or I was just gonna say you just shoot him in the face and take your draw. 'Cause they are.
You shoot the 2/1.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, and there's not really any punish for that.
Because it pings their face anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like we might get to see Leona Riven against Deep. And actually, it reminds me of a question I wanted to ask you is when you're considering, like, if you're down a game in a best of 3, what is your philosophy? Do you run it back with the same deck you just lost with, or do you switch it up to try and kind of reset your mental? Because in my head, it's I have to win with the deck I lost with one way or another. So I usually just don't switch. Even if switching would give me a more favorable matchup, I have to win the unfavorable matchup anyway. So I might as well go for it.
That's
Like,
normally how I go, unless I just had an atrocious game and I'm just like, okay, I just need a, I need a palate cleanser game.
need a minute, yeah.
I will say one of the big losses for Deep is the loss of Atrocity, because now this deck has 0 reach.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's a huge loss, but saying, oh no, Deep can no longer 13 you.
Mm.
You know, it's the same. Like, I was a big Thresh Nasus player. Okay, so like I've had my share of Atrocity U for 15 kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had my fair share of go to Atrocity U for 15 and then you counter it because I, like I said, make them have it and they have it. You'd think I'd have learned my lesson by now. But yeah, I don't know. Atrocity, there needed to be some sort of addendum on that card.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe champions. Maybe you can't Atrocity a champion.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any punish for just playing out our cards, or we can just open. I mean, they would have to have Vengeance, or because we know that they tossed an Undergrowth, and they've played an Undergrowth. They
Oh,
don't have a lot.
if he had tossed, oh no, it shuffles them after. I was gonna say. Because we could technically, if we, okay, if you're Lunari here, you could toss the treasure that deals 5 to everything.
Yeah, you could. You absolutely could.
If your opponent keeps playing slow cards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would have maybe gone for it. I would have played my little dredger.
I think that's about as.
It's a long shot, but yeah,
but it's not.
it exists. It's in there.
It does in fact exist. It's not this game though. So it looks like we'll get another game of Deep.
Mm-hmm. Back to that Leona Riven deck though.
The lineup overall is interesting to me. Leona, Riven, Fizz, Samira, Annie, Caitlyn. I don't play a lot of Annie, Caitlyn. I don't know how that fits in that lineup.
I want to play more Annie decks. Like every time I play against Annie decks, I'm like, this seems very powerful. Very efficient.
When the deck does the thing, it's good. There's nothing better than getting Conservatory down and being able to play 2 damage Cossack Rift, 3 damage Mystic Shot, or if you're playing the Evil K version, being able to print more Tibulks.
It's just wild that whenever I play against that deck, I feel like it is doing such efficient things, and I'm like, is it efficient? It's just 2 for 1. It had to disintegrate Caustic Rift to kill my guy, but still, they killed my big guy for cheap spells. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you can run them out of gas, if they don't find their draw spells, you can just put them off the board.
To serve the greater good.
I have a Leona in hand and a Ravun. Are you Ravun on 5 or Leona on 5?
It depends. If I have attack token, I'm probably gonna go. Well, and it depends on what their board is. If they're not threatening my board, I'll probably go Raven. On their token. On my token, it's Leona. I want that. I want the stun and I want the drag.
No mercy for heretics.
Interesting place. It looks. Lunari's hand is very awkward now. Double Maokai is not what you want to see. Honestly, a lot of Deep decks are cutting down to 2 Maokai because don't really. The champion.
He's gonna draw the 3-drop. Oh no! But yeah, the champion doesn't do a lot except when it's doing exactly what you want it to. I think my old Deep list played 1 Maokai.
Yep.
Like pre-rotation.
Did you ever see the atrocity that was the Maokai Bard deck?
I did not.
You go deep, like you mill yourself down so that all your chimes. This is back when Bard, put 3 chimes every turn. You didn't have the three turn waiting period. and you would get to where you were putting like 6 chimes on a unit every time. So you were just playing like a one, your dredger's coming out as, an 8/7 for 1 mana.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's kind of bonkers.
Yo, we need to draw some cards that do something.
I think we might want to go for the or Lure of the Depths to try and see if we can get ourselves a cheaper unit, or at least play unit cheaper.
Yeah.
Know what rules?
Just gotta
Losing
get
the
some more
Maokai
guys in.
here, if we do, is not that big a deal.
Yeah, we have another.
No turning back now.
And I don't think Maokai is necessarily... I mean, when Maokai levels up, you are just in a waiting game. Like,
think we just-
usually it's enough to win the game.
I think we're very much just blocking the Saboteur here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't put quick attack on the on Saboteur to make our odds a little bit more difficult to have him block our Riven.
Or even on the 4-1.
Yeah, like
Okay.
we could draw here, or we could lure. I like lure, especially if we. So really hoping that we would be able to find a Sea Scarab there, get it down for 1, and start milling our going deep a little bit faster with those sapling procs. This is a tougher hand here. I'd be tempted to play.
I was tempted to play the elusive guy, but then we just
Yeah,
get
that's what I was
punished.
thinking. I'd want to get the extra draw, but I guess playing, because they both would have been.
Stunned. Yeah.
I guess this allows us to draw with our forecast card, because we can go into next turn with a with Vengeance for Leona.
Very true.
Yeah, because I don't know what other plays we're really going to be able to make. I'd be... Yeah, Blade of Exile.
There is surrender
Not
and
good
there is
for us.
I will live.
I feel like Deep really just wants to play against control decks. Like, you
Yeah.
really just want to abuse Maokai. So it's a little unfortunate because I feel like this one's looking awkward. I'm not saying it's lost by any stretch, but it's looking so awkward, whereas game 1 looked very convincing.
Yeah, I mean, the worst part is that now with the Leona coming down with Sunhawk, they're going to get 2 stuns guaranteed.
So even if we Vengeance Leona,
Yeah, so the stuns, those are happening. Now, if they're greedy and they play Ravoon, we've got a chance. Okay, so now I think we have to,
Vengeance Leona.
yeah, I guess the,
Not happy about it.
no. And
Would much
I
rather
didn't
develop.
realize the Leona isn't leveled. And she, let's see, because we played the 1 mana 3/3. We played 2 of the 1 mana 3/3s. So this should be 3. Oh no, so that's just 3 procs. Yeah, so that's awkward because we can still Sunhawk, or we. It's just a very awkward turn now.
We're just opting to put the biggest butt on board.
Yeah, I mean he's not gonna die, and now he's gonna.
Oh,
level.
never mind. We're deep.
Yep, we get that extra little push.
Okay, wait a minute. I don't think I realized how close to deep we were. I was actually kind of excited before Nautilus leveled because it meant we just had, 12 toughness of blocker, and now that's just not there.
Now, because Leona wasn't leveled before we dropped Sunhawk, we only get the 1 stun. I will say, having the Maokai is having the leveled Nautilus on board is handy because it allows us to play the extra sea monsters
Really just
for
needed something
free.
to be curious about.
Curious to see what they drag here. I'd imagine you drag Maokai with your Leona.
I'm on board with that too, yeah.
and you attack. I mean, you have to attack with your Riven.
For the lost.
But the rest of our attacks are not looking great. But we need the damage.
My brain did not even parse that that was Riven.
Man, the cosmic skin just throws me for a loop too.
I really wish I hadn't missed the boat on the corrupted Leona skin.
Ah, yeah, the corrupted skin is goated. I'm hoping. I'm gonna be honest. In the League Cunt, I am a big fan of all the tech skins. You know, I would like more robot-y future boys, please.
To come over into this game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think this is yeah, you just kill Ravoon, you take 8.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, we're trading pretty efficiently here, and we've got the follow-up Vengeance for
The
whatever they
follow
threaten
vengeance.
later.
We got some life steal, life gain.
And a 2-mana like Shipwreck Porter is kind of good, especially when our deck is already very thin.
Yeah, it's
You know.
all right. You know, it's if it's stats per cost, it's fine.
If we play that first, we can play our Jaw Hunter to pull Leona.
Mm.
Now the question is, let's see. So they do not main deck a Morning Light, so that is a second Leona in hand for LTS and for Terraria.
Mm. I love that that terminology still gets used in Runeterra. Like main deck.
Oh yeah. Um,
I was like, wait,
Now-
do we have? Is there a format where we have sideboards? Sign me up for that.
Absolutely. I mean, we're gonna. I think we devour here. We could devour.
Oh my god, yeah.
I think you devour Leona because you've got enough stats on board.
It's where you don't really care about the Riven.
And you've got to follow up once again because they don't have a spell shield or anything like that to worry about. You've got the not spell to stun them. You've got a vengeance, and you've got big enough bodies that even with the overwhelm, and we're just gonna kill Riven here anyways with our Jaw Hunter.
I was wondering, yeah, I mean, I still agree with developing the 3/2, the life steal, but I wonder if there's a world where it's just better to develop your big sea monster. We didn't though.
Oh,
Riven.
I mean, I guess we leave it up this way. We're threatening a ton of damage, and we can always just vengeance Riven.
Yeah, I don't
No,
know. It seems kind
no.
of greedy though.
It seems greedy. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you're more afraid of the other thing growing to be very
yeah,
big.
but you have the vengeance in hand anyways. I mean, you've got the
Yeah.
extra, and like giving them the extra spells just feels wrong.
But I mean, we just slam Maokai here, right? Like,
I mean, we're not dying. I mean, I would even just say we play nothing. Like you just leave up your stun and your vengeance.
wait and see what they do.
Yeah, because they're not killing you this turn. It doesn't matter. Let them
Yeah.
commit the mana. And with Nautilus on board, the stun should also put them back in deck.
I don't want to put them back in. Oh wait, no, yeah, I do because Maokai's the opposite. So yeah, we stun one, kill the other, then play.
Yep. Yeah, that's just
Oh, he's just gonna concede.
game. And with vengeance in hand, that's game. I mean,
Yeah.
they obviously will have to. They will swing, unless they're. It
They
looks
didn't
like
swing.
they're just giving us the concede. Like we full swing. That's game. Sad we didn't get to see the Shrekbrek border. I would have loved to get some treasure in the game, but hey, deep pulling through. That
Wow.
is not an easy.
It is not.
You know,
Classic
I-
caster curse. I was doubting. I was doubting there in the middle, man.
Honestly, I think a big problem with it is that the Riven is not. I don't like the Riven inclusion. Like, I don't think that she does enough for you. She's slowing down your curve and not. I mean, she did get big there, but
She did get very big, but in in a deck where your other options are to play like Kale or Diana and like
Yeah.
get really aggressive. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you can diversify your threats. Like we saw there, they're just sitting there on that stun and on that vengeance. If you're trying to Voltron deep, you're going to be sad. Without access to spell shield or a deny.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that looked really rough there. A little touch and go. We were at pretty low.
It doesn't matter if you're at 3 health if the enemy is
Mhm. Sure doesn't. And I've definitely, even as the Samira Fizz player, I've gotten them to, you get them to that 1 or 2, and you're like, seriously, I've got like 15 cards in my deck that would just kill them right now. Why is
Yep.
this happening to me?
I've got stylish shots. I've got Samira to make me a flare. Where are my cards at? I've drawn half the deck. Come on.
I do think it's very funny that we haven't. I feel like we've only seen how many Annie Caitlyn decks were brought. We actually had like a fair amount of those, didn't we?
Let's
No,
see.
there were only 2. I
Yeah.
was gonna say I feel like both players that we saw. I think we've seen both players that had it in their lineup, and I think it was banned both
Yeah, they
times.
both got banned.
So that's my new sleeper pick for deck that people just don't want to play against.
Yep. Okay, sounds like we're gonna wait. We've got players right at the end of their last match, so we're gonna take a quick bio break, and we'll see you guys back with another round. Um, we'll see you soon.
I lied awake for days, counting all the ways I died. Everything I couldn't save, buried down, still half alive. It's got me crawling in my skin, but no one's coming out to hold me close. Pouring out the gasoline, yeah, I've been making friends with all these ghosts, and I got nothing left to lose. Fight to the future. It's not me to turn and run. Met the bitter truth and I choked it down. Left a bad taste on my tongue, but my appetite's been growing now. I can see you crawling in your skin, but no one's coming out to hold you close. I'm pouring out the gasoline, so say hello to all my ghosts. I'm moving like a shadow. You're walking in my dead zone. Breathing slow. Ooh, love the hunt, love the high. Watching life fade from your eyes. Ooh, and this is not a warning. This is not a test. I'm tuning on you and I'm coming for the rest. And I'm about to ignite.
And we're back. Ready for
And we've,
what looks to be a very exciting matchup.
yep, we've got Cephalopod or Fish Fear Me versus What Am I? Now, once again, looking at those lineups, it looks like What Am I has brought Ash LeBlanc, Riven, Samira Varus, and Diana Leona. And looking over at Cephalopod's lineup, it is Fizz Samira, Alawi Jarvan 4, and Ash LeBlanc. So we've got two. Let's see.
Got the LeBlanc mirror. That
We've
Fizz
got a
Samira.
yeah. Fizz Samira versus Riven Samira Varus. We'll see who can get there faster. I would think that the Fizz Samira version would get going a little quicker, be a little more aggressive. Might be able to get under
I'm looking at
Riven
this
Samira
and I'm
Varus a bit.
feeling like, and tell me what you think. I'm feeling like if I'm Fish Fear Me, I'm banning Diana Leona. I think I'm looking at this and going, hey, if we're playing just go wide, go fast, go home, like I'm just gonna take my chances and hope that I draw the better removal,
I
play
guess the
around
other
what you got.
question is, are you worried about the Ash LeBlanc matchup?
That matchup is just always gonna be a coin toss. But I'm not like, I don't know. I don't think any of my decks are so bad into Ash LeBlanc that I'm gonna ban it out of fear. I think that deck is very strong. I think that you just have to accept that sometimes you lose to that deck.
Yeah.
It's not one that I'm looking at and going, I feel like I just
I
can't beat
mean,
that deck.
so looking at Riven Varus Samira, Ash LeBlanc is a 37% matchup for you. And that's a little less than ideal, but Jarvan 4 Alawi is a 45. Leona Diana's a 47. It's really, I think, kind of just not great. Fizz Samira is actually not bad. I mean, it's a 54 in your favor. You've got a chance there, but I think looking at that matchup, so you've got Fizz Samira, Jar4, and Ash LeBlanc. I think you ban the Ash LeBlanc here.
Really?
If you're What Am I? But
Oh
looking,
no, yeah, okay.
sorry,
I was
and
looking
you
at it
were
from the other angle. Yeah.
oh yeah, so we're
Yeah,
backwards.
if I'm Fish Fear Me, I just don't want to play against Diana Leona. I don't want them putting big stat sticks on the board. I don't want
Oh
them
no, I
stunning my
agree.
guys.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always tempted to ban Varus just because every time I play against Varus, I feel like it's doing nothing, and then until I'm just dead, and
Yeah, until you explode.
I just missed what happened. Blink and you miss it.
So it looks like we're
Looks
gonna
like
see. Oh, he left wanted to leave
neither
that
of those
dynamite.
bans. Neither of us got the ban we wanted or expected here.
Nope. So, and that's why we're on the desk.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's see.
Be interested to hear the thinking though. The pick ban is so hard. There's so few opportunities to practice it outside of like Gauntlet,
Yeah.
and you can only do those once a day max,
Well,
and that's assuming it's best of 1 or best of 3.
well, and some of it's a mind game too. It's sometimes you've got that like, well, if I think they're gonna ban this, I could ban this instead. Versus like taking the just pure optimal ban.
Yeah, ban the
Um,
deck I don't want to play against. I don't care what the matchups are. I'm banning what I don't enjoy playing against.
That's fair. That's completely reasonable. And I would love to see a Ash LeBlanc mirror and just see whose list is going to take it home. But
Whose list do I need to take to the ladder after this?
yeah, exactly. Now, interestingly enough, we were talking earlier about what am I running the one Avaros and Trapper, and Fish Fear Me has decided against that, running 3 Reckless Trifarians instead. And no Darken Spear either.
These are kind of awkward hands from both players.
Yeah, it's really not.
I love seeing the
Great.
pigeon attack with nothing to its right.
Oh yeah, it's
Such
really
a lonely bird.
yeah.
Surprise
Now
is
with
feeling.
the second LeBlanc in hand, we do have a way to kill it. Like if we wanted to do that right now, I don't think that'd be triple Leona is not the hand you want to see.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too. We got a lot of challenger. We're taking down what we want.
Few earn the right to call
I would be
themselves
tempted to play
Trifarian.
Diana here.
I would have probably played Diana last turn. Using the same cycle here.
Yeah.
What a great card to get there.
What a hit. Now, here's a question. With as many Leonas as we have in hand, might have saved, like, because we didn't really care about the Nightfall proc last turn. Save that Nightfall proc so that we can play Leona and then give our Diana Challenger this turn. I suppose that also would have locked us out of Might, but I'd really love to be able to try and pull that LeBlanc right now.
I was about to say, can't we just cast Leona's signature spell here? And then we're gonna get to crash in for 3, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, I mean, and if they're having to waste a,
I mean, yeah, they're gonna frostbite some of this. They're gonna, you know.
and the Morning
I
Light
can never remember the
also-
name of. I can never remember the name of LeBlanc's signature spell.
Oh, but the thing is, we're walking right into a reckoning, and that's
I didn't see the reckoning. Obviously, neither did What Am I, but I should have seen it. Oh.
that's crushing. I mean, I think that to lose,
That's losing 2 Leonas.
yeah, I mean, that's pretty devastating.
We fight for one Freljord.
It was stun the 5, 6.
We do level our Leona here, so she'll have barrier or the LeBlanc.
Glorious light rains down.
I don't think she gets the barrier. I
Oh,
don't
no,
think she was. She
She's
wasn't.
leveling
she's
with
the
her
4th.
own proc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that tripped me up a lot.
Explosives prime.
Wow.
Now, are we going into 7? Yeah. So going into 7, we can play our 2-drop and Moonlight, but I don't know if that'll necessarily be worth it this turn.
Right, because he still has all these. Still has all these frostbite.
Yeah, and I will say our Leona is now out of range of a second Reckoning. I think we very much just drag the LeBlanc with
Just
our
have to
Leona.
go for it. Yeah.
We just
Oh, because
drag
even
them-
and if he frostbites us, we just might. We're gonna take care of this LeBlanc.
Exactly. He's gonna have to frostbite us twice.
He can do that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that would be still.
Well,
not-
actually, no, he can't. Oh, yes, he can. He has 8. Sorry.
Yeah, he has
Alright.
exactly. I didn't see it until you mentioned it.
Yeah. So
Yep.
there-
I still think we might. I think we still just make him do it.
yeah. Make him use him this turn.
But yeah, very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
For What Am I? I mean, obviously for Fish Fear Me, it's insane.
Oh yeah.
It's very hard to remember. I don't actually have a horse in this race. I'm like I'm not rooting for anybody. I'm like I'm
Yeah.
just. I guess it's just the personal bias, right? Like we're currently on this. We're spectating What Am I as like the main
Mhm.
board.
Yeah, we're
So, like,
playing.
I'm
yeah,
lo-
yeah,
I'm playing this deck right now. I'm feeling this on the ladder.
I just always root for blue. Okay. Deciding that it's not. Not worth
Wow. Okay. I mean, we do have 2 extra LeBlancs in hand. We just redevelop, save the frostbite for something a little more proactive, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, because we can play LeBlanc and then play Ash next turn. I would imagine playing the LeBlanc.
I hate having to put my face on.
I could also see waiting. Maybe he was considering developing next turn so that the initial stun, goes on to
I will unite the Freljord.
Oh, that LeBlanc.
5/6.
The Ash has
Right.
been buffed, unfortunately.
The sun's
Yeah.
splendor
That's not a sentence
revealed.
you hear very often. I feel like.
No.
Ah, dang it! I'm so mad that my Ash has +1/+1.
Yeah. I think we try and clean up their board a little bit here with our
Victory requires a sharp
but of course Pirouette is going to make life difficult for us here. They don't want to take it.
Show them the way. I'll cut them apart.
Yeah, I
Face
think
me.
he's saving the pirouette to trigger
and get-
Nightfall. Want to make
Oh.
sure you don't want to just accidentally brick yourself out of
Yeah.
being
But
able
with-
to. I don't agree with that though, because like I would rather try and I'm banking on drawing a Daybreak card to trigger Leona,
Mhm.
so we can stun one, blank two
only-
of his blockers.
He is running 2 Winding Light. So he may be trying to play that angle
Ooh.
as well, saying like, because if you get a full board that way, force him to block down.
It always feels so
My
BM
aim
when
is
they
true.
frostbite whoever they pulled with the 5/1.
Mhm.
It's like, come on, man.
With
Let it
Ashspell,
trade.
with the arrow coming in next turn, it makes developing anything pretty difficult for us because they'll be able to freeze the majority of our. They'll be able to freeze our whole board now.
Mm. So we can.
We might even have to save Moonlight for next turn to silence Ash so that we can block with our 0.
It's just keeping us alive, though. How do we win after that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to draw. We need to play to our outs. We need to play to another draw because this turn we can't do any. We can't kill them or do really effectively do anything without
Strike while the
developing.
planets align.
I was gonna ask if you thought there was a argument for killing the 5/1,
I think so.
but
I mean, it's a 1 drag that we're. Oh, getting a little bleed through there. Getting a
Remember me.
both
getting a
angles.
pirouette go off both ways. So the middle of the board's flipped currently, so we're gonna have a little bit of weirdness on the broadcast.
Okay, we drew a Daybreak guy. That'll help us in like 2 turns.
Yeah,
If we live that long.
I mean, at least next turn it keeps them from developing.
Oh, we're going for it. We're going for it.
Okay, we're just saying.
Yeah, we gave them 800 times where they. Or I mean, no, we played a bunch of burst spells. We're just trying to get them while they can't arrow us. But unfortunately, they still have other
I think they're gonna
frostbite.
kill our Leona here, or no, they're just gonna save the health. Oh, put themselves out of range of
Nothing
the
personal.
Noxian Fervor.
Mm.
Say, because next turn they can just freeze open and let's see, 9. They're only dealing 14.
The best lies
Yeah,
are
so
The blanc, and then we get to double stun.
I would think that we save the double
Single
stun for next
stun,
turn.
yeah.
Single stun this turn because now we have
We'll have a blocker.
even if we don't even have to block this turn because they're only going to deal 12 damage. Now if once they arrow,
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, they're just pushing
they're
it.
going
Yeah.
to arrow to draw and see if they can get another unit because they don't have enough damage right now. That'll do. Oh, 7-8. Jeez, that is a big boy.
I mean, yeah, that's game.
Yeah.
Well, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I was like, he does actually have to cast the card in his hand.
Got it perfect.
I am everywhere. I am
It's always so
everywhere.
BM when the champion levels up as the game is ending.
Oh yeah, just closing it out. Oh, by the way,
Thanks for the cutscene.
let's
Cutscene,
drag this out a little bit. You haven't suffered enough.
It just feels some kind of way.
It
was
do
like-
be like that sometimes.
I played a handful of games as Azir Zereth, like with just Ascended Sun Disc, and that's always how
Oh.
it felt in the games where I won. Where I'm like, all right, are you ready to watch like 4 cutscenes back to back?
Yep.
Where it's like I'm gonna
I-
ascend the Sun Disc, I'm gonna play Azir and evolve him, and Zereth as well. All right, it
Yep,
looks like
right.
the other deck we got for Fish Fear Me is
J4 Alawi.
Alawi
So
J4.
the Fizz Samira got banned. Which is fair. I mean, I think you're never really wrong banning Phissamera. Like we were talking earlier, it can just explode and do terrible things to you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how good that matchup is for you. Like, if they draw it, they draw it.
One thing that's awkward is
I love that the Leona. I'm sorry, you did the Leona emote for the Leona match. I'm sorry.
oh no,
You're
it's
saying-
good. They don't have any early. Oh, they just don't have their watchful idol to get their tentacle going. Be interesting that next turn we'll be able to drag with the Diana, because we'll do the damage first,
Dusk
Uh,
approaches.
reducing the attack. Yeah, and we'll also buff Diana to 3 anyways.
Unless they cataclysm us.
Or they could just, I think the play is really just to play a blocking Badger Bear here, because it makes the attack awkward with the
Yeah, just a
Solar
big
Soldier.
boy.
He
Just
is a big
develop the
boy.
4/4. God, that card
Yep.
is. That sure is a card that exists.
Yeah, it's huge, and I think I mean, we still have to make the trade. It's not great.
That Badger
I
Bear
find-
is static.
I had not noticed the Lunari Priestess. Oh, that's off of Heaven's Aligned.
Yeah.
We move against fear, against doubt.
Right. Yeah, I was
Yep.
gonna say we'll stun and kill it. Alawi does not need to be attacking. The
Yeah,
longer
that-
we can keep those tentacles off the board,
Awesome trade for us.
definitely. For us. Again. we got the-
Oh yeah. You
for what am I?
doing? Really, not trying to root against.
I'm
Fish here.
absolutely not.
It's just
like-
team. I'm just on the blue side.
Oh,
if
man.
you were on the other side of the board, I'd be saying, "Oh,
All right.
man,
All right, I'm gonna do my best. You can keep rooting for what am I. I'm hard pivoting. I am
neutral.
focused on how Alawi J4 is winning this matchup. We're already up a game. We've got this in the bag. Maybe that's
Yep.
it. We're rooting for the underdog right now too.
I really like the Riptide Sermon here. Forcing what am I to commit the Pale. Unfortunately, for Fish Fear Me, Diana will now be able to drag that tentacle, and we can't. And Fish Fear Me can't effectively block this Ravoon.
Yeah, and Alawi needs those tentacles to deal damage. So the first strike is the quick attack. I'm sorry.
Matt, your magic roots are bleeding through.
Yes, they are. All the games have the same mechanics at its
Yes.
core.
I mean, this is a nice attack for us.
It really.
For Fish Near Me. Having Raven on board though is gonna put in work.
He's such a house.
He's a brick house.
I love how when you play him and then you play any of the cards that have Nightfall and Daybreak, if you do it right, you just get both of the triggers. You're just like,
Oh,
all
it's
right,
awesome.
just
Heaven's
drowning
Light-
in value.
Honestly, the favorite one in the game is the dragon.
That gives you,
Eclipse
yeah. Oh, wait, the Equip Dragon.
Eclipse.
Oh, yes. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, there's a card. Oh, no, that one.
Yeah, and this looks pretty lethal.
Move or be moved.
I'd say, one of mine could get cheeky and put Might on Raven, but I think the real answer is just put it on almost anything else, because they have
Make
no
him-
fast speed interaction.
Yeah.
Whereas here you get punished by form up. They still, Fish Army still loses the Alawi, but you could have won the game.
hmm I don't really see them coming back from 2 though. We don't have Ruination.
Right. But once again, like with no fast speed interaction, I'm an idiot. They have single combat. I'm just blind. I looked right past form up, past single combat. So once again, what am I making the right decision? Killing the Alawi and just cinching things down. I like Comet here.
Yeah.
Daylight fades and dusk
If they drop,
settles as the moon
if
rises,
Fish Army
quiet
drops
reflection begins.
Nagakaboros on the board, that will be oh,
Yeah.
Beautiful
Just
day.
obliterate
what am
it.
I
Yeah.
electing for
Drawing Leona to stun
yeah,
it. Because obviously we draw Leona and not Diana, right?
oh, of course.
Because we're good at the game.
Or you can drop Perazi. There's
I
not much.
like getting
Honestly,
Leona.
considering the board state, there's not much that has to be done here for what am I?
I would like to turn these units into bigger, better units.
Yes.
So that being said, there might be. There we go.
Oh yeah. What do we say?
I was trying to do the math on what units we could play with Daybreak to buff up the Sun Guardian, but not enough. Not enough mana.
No. I imagine interesting.
Really, we're not just gonna.
I
mean,
was
I know
considering
we're
dragging
respect
Ravin.
Ravun or Diana even, like, but probably Ravun. But just like
Destiny.
we're respecting combat tricks, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But even what combat tricks would have done anything about that? He's at 1 health.
Yeah. And
I guess this keeps our guy on board as a blocker. We are Fish Fear Me is at 2. So like while Ravun is the more tempting thing to kill,
Shine like the sun.
we really do need each and every unit on board.
The
force
dawn
out more
has
stuns.
Bask in the light
But with an
radiance.
equivalent board, maybe the thought is the Cataclysm Ravun, but then we end up, I guess we 2 for 1.
Okay, so we're just trying to get as many of his guys off the board as possible.
Silver light.
It's like even the bird kills us without leading anything.
Mm-hmm. So looking at Fish Fear Me's hand, oh,
We have enough. Pretty gross.
I mean, I think the
There's-
safe play here is to put on equipment, and drop Winding Light.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's anything Fish Fear Me can do about this.
You could no, because
You could-
anything kills you.
Yeah, with all this overwhelm damage coming through.
And with us already having a tentacle on board, drawing an extra unit doesn't help. You know, because the tentacle already exists, so it's not creating a unit and having a unit for us to draw into.
Punish transgression.
A casual 30 damage, no big deal.
These things happen. Man, that was a brutal one.
Oh yeah, a big swing
I-
there at the end.
I was kind of feeling like we might go to a game 3 there, but
Very close.
oh, we are
Um,
going to a game 3. I'm having a
Oh,
moment.
yeah, because that
I'm having such a moment.
and I agreed with you. You're
Yeah,
just so convincing.
Man, I
Lucky.
was feeling like we were going to a game 3. We totally are.
Okay, so Riven.
Finally get
I
to see
can
the Varus.
confidently say this is not a matchup I've seen.
Yeah.
So I think with the list that one of my brought, there's a single Unforgiving Cold, but there are 2 Furious Wielders and a Whirling Death. Personally, I would have liked to have seen a second Unforgiving Cold.
That card is such an overperformer, but I do feel like the handful of times I've played like Aatrox Kane and stuff like that, I feel like I have too many games where I mulligan and end up drawing 2 of them, which is not bad, but it's not winning you any games. Not if your opponent's really getting in there. So, but one feels like not enough. It's hard to find the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm. So I have God should be a spawn 2, giving Fisherman a 3/3 on swing.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not
Looks
it
like
certainly
both
is.
players have like really nice, aggressive, low curve hands here.
Mhm.
we're just gonna get like a knockdown, drag out, dirty game of Runeterra. It feels like.
I think the big card right now in Fish Firmi's hand is that prismatic barrier. If one of my chooses to go for the kill on the tentacle with the flare, going to end up
Such a
very
blowout,
sad.
yeah. Oh no. That's what we're gonna get to see.
No problem.
Oh,
Oh,
and there's only one in the deck.
got him.
Yep, I think that pretty well.
I'm not gonna go so far as to say it lost the game, but like that tentacle is only getting bigger.
It's very bad. I mean, and with C's voice in hand,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna end up with an 8/5 tentacle.
Yeah,
That's it.
I take it back. I do think it lost the game, but I also don't think there's nothing else we can do there. Like it has the Eye God on it. We have to try and get rid of it. It's already a 4/2. It's only gonna keep getting bigger. No, his deck is. We know Fish Firmi's deck is nothing but tentacle monsters. So like, also those two cards side by side. It's kind of like a cute extended art. I love that. I don't think I noticed
Yep.
that before. Dang, this is rough. Also, I can appreciate the cephalopod / Fish Firmi player bringing the tentacle deck.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Very very on brand.
it's been yeah. It's been performing very well on ladder. It just has not quite done the sauce for me.
It hasn't made a splash.
It hasn't. Get out. Take a lap. Unfortunately, with form up in hand, we're gonna end up losing. One of mine is gonna end up losing another unit to this tentacle.
That's gonna be it.
There aren't any other real answers in the deck right now. Next swing is looking like it'll be lethal.
There we go. I like you not doing the math there.
It's a much bigger number than 9.
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't even have to use form up. We've got like 16 different ways. So we're baiting that out, and now we form up. Oh, that's disgusting.
What is that playing around?
I'm not sure. But I'm sure it's something.
Of course, I guess now they don't have the spell shield.
So now we can
to
cataclysm
block a
if we
cataclysm.
really need
The
to.
Cataclysm would still go off. They would just be able
Yeah.
to block her.
Maybe I need to be bringing this deck. Like every time I play against the Alawi deck, it feels very oppressive.
The thing that makes the deck good is hitting Watchful Idol on 1. We noticed the other game where Fish Firmi lost, they didn't get the early tentacles, and then when they finally did get the tentacles, it was too late. You know, Alawi is not valuable unless you have the tentacles on board. Because, you know, at 4 mana, 3/6 overwhelm is underwhelming.
There you go. It's just I feel like every time I play against the Alawi deck, it goes 0 to 100, and I miss the moment where it tripped over. Like I'm doing okay. I'm fighting the tentacles. It's very thematic. It's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And then they drop Nagakaboros or something.
And
they're like attack with the 10/10 tentacle, also attack with like a 15 power Alawi. They all have overwhelm, and I'm like, what? I'm taking 48 damage.
Starting to feel a little Path of Champions, you know.
They've got some hidden buffs on there, so I would like to know. I'd like to know where my free overwhelm for all my units is.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, you know, I feel like Alawi died for Bard's sins. Got slapped with a couple of nerfs a while back and hadn't really recovered, but now with the recent rotation, I think that she's refound her footing, or I guess whatever tentacles have.
She's kind of resurfaced in the meta.
There we go. Much better.
There's one thing I can be counted on is for puns.
Perfect. That's pun support is always needed. I'm curious to see who our next matchup will. Oh
We get
wow! So
Lunari. I get Lunari crushing it. Okay.
just all
Seen
right. So
them 2 or 3 times already on this broadcast. So Lunari versus Fish Fear Me.
yep. So let's see. So we know what Fish Fermi is bringing.
Yeah.
Uh,
They both
so
have
now
Fist Samira.
so with Malk, so you've got Deep, Jack Seraphine, and Fizz Samira versus uh Fizz Samira, um, our Tentacles deck, and Ash LeBlanc. Now, looking at this from Lunaya's perspective, I think you ban Fizz Samira. I mean,
Hmm.
this might be a double Fizz Samira ban, in my opinion.
Maybe. I think it's a really tough ban for Fish Fear Me since all 3 of Lunari's decks are like, subnautical themed. We've got Sharkman in one of them, we've got the Deep deck, and we've got Fish. So, like, I don't know how you
It,
make that decision. You might just let them bring all 3 decks.
that was that the I'm here for thematic.
I'm here for the story, man. This is the storyline.
I'm here for the thematic lineup. I like it.
Man, that's been the meta all along. All your decks have to have a fish.
What
Um,
what about fish
I don't.
fight? Does that count?
It's an honorable mention. I think if you have it, they let you in. They'll let
Okay,
you
so
in. They'll let you
you
in the
don't get in
club.
the VIP section. You just are you're in the club.
Let's see. I don't know. I don't know what I'd ban here on the side of Fish Fear Me. Like, it's tough. I feel like I could see the Fizz Samira ban. I could see the double ban there. You just don't want them popping off. I can see banning Jack Seraphine because other than our Alawi deck, I feel like we have a lot of little squishy things that Jack Seraphine's just going to pick apart. But I also think Maokai Nautilus, if they draw what they need to draw, which again, that's every deck. But if they
Mhm.
draw enough to clog up the board, we don't necessarily have a lot of good ways to like attack into these 2-3s and 3-4s without just progressing their deep game plan.
Right. Well, I do
Um,
think that with Ash LeBlanc, we go for more of the value game plan, and we just say, I don't care if you go deep. I'm going to be bigger than you. Um, Now it depends. It does depend on what they're running. They do have so that three have the three Everest Hearth guards, 3 Omen Hawk. They do not have Spear, which could help us could help Fish Fear Me accelerate that a little bit more, or a Revna. Although I've seen a lot of decks variants cutting that. Because you don't often get away with playing a 6 mana 2/2. Um,
I
you
think
know,
I think my deck is playing. I think I'm playing 1, and I think I've played against a couple people playing 2, and 2 does feel greedy. But even the
oh,
1, like it's such a strong effect. But even the 1, I'm like, I just spent 6 mana on this. Yeah, like
yeah. And are you really doing enough at that point? Like, unless you're playing, I think it could be effective in the mirror just because you trade things down and like, hey, my things are all going to consistently be bigger than yours. Everything my Trifarian Assessor is going to draw. I've got a guaranteed like 4/4 like Omen Hawk, but
yeah, it's so awkward. Like when she's in your opening hand. I think if you can manage to get a single buff on her with Omen Hawk or the 5/6 whose name is completely eluding me right now.
Avaros and Hearthguard.
Yeah, like if you get like a single buff on her, suddenly like I don't know, 2/2 is great, but 3/3, I don't know,
They do
3/3
pretty
is
good. They do pretty
pretty
good.
good.
Um, all right, so it looks like we're going to see Deep versus Tentacles.
It's the matchup I've been waiting for, baby.
That like I feel like Deep is just one of those decks that has been hanging around for so long,
It
and it
has.
just
That was
as you said, it's resurfaced. It seems like it just always finds a way, whether it's Random Seven or someone else finding that little niche for Deep. It's just a constant.
it turns out giving all of your things +3/+3. It's +3/+3, right? Yeah. Turns out that's just a good buff, like we were just talking about with the LeBlanc. Like giving all your things +3/+3 is huge. And if all you have to do is throw some cards in the garbage to get there, it's easy. Like Deep, I think was literally one of the first decks I like had like way back in the day, and I don't think it has changed very much, which is good and bad. Like it means it hasn't really gotten some support, But it also means it hasn't really lost a lot. Like we talked about earlier, it's lost Vile Feast, which don't get me wrong, it's pretty huge. But I think it's kind of telling that the deck almost seems to be doing better now in an environment without Vile Feast.
Yeah, I think it's just like when the meta is slowed down, you know, you have really big grindy decks like Jack Seraphine and Set Karma. Like you have that inner space, you know, turn 7 to 9, like where you can really beat them down, and especially when you can get an accelerated deep. You know, you have the opportunity to close out the game with just these enormous bodies before they can do their thing.
Life is too
There's a
short
Lowy.
for fear.
She is gonna have to.
Oh, absolutely.
What a
I mean,
hand! I actually just looked up and saw Fish Fears Me hands. I was doing the classic. I'm playing the blue side, thinking too much about those plays, but like that is a lot of tricks, a lot of nonsense going on over there.
now the question is, I think you still have to vengeance the Alawi
Oh
if
yeah.
you're Lenari here. Um, and then next turn
Eat the idol,
you could try. I mean,
or do you
if
eat the tentacle?
you could
the
try
idol?
Tentacle without being deep. If depending on how close Lunari is to deep, you risk being blown out by so 9 away.
Those form ups, yeah.
Double, we would have to have double jettison, and just don't have it. Well, we don't
do.
have enough mana for it to play. We don't have double jettison into Big Fish.
Right.
So we'd have to have mana for that.
Are we okay with whiffing on? Okay, so we can't eat the tentacle. We could eat the idol, or eat a removal spell, or I'm sorry, a buff on the
Ooh.
idol. Oh, that's okay.
I mean, that's pretty tempting now.
It might just be Sea Scarab and leave up all of the mana to just insta deep.
If we see Scarab, there's the risk of Cataclysm clearing
We
our
s-
board.
We have insta deep.
Oh yeah, we do have Insta Deep.
That's what yeah. Oh, well, we did nothing. Okay.
Maybe just saying like I'm willing to take, of course, with eye in hand, take 9.
Still, that's really rough.
That's a pretty big swing.
But I can see not wanting to develop the Scarab without something on board with it. Yeah, this is gonna be some damage.
Oh, I think the Alawi draw changes.
He's like, hold up.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm gonna pull these attacks back as I cast that focus spell.
I guess the other thought is if you play Alawi here, you have no follow up and you have no way to protect her, and you
Yeah, right
you
into
haven't
this big
been-
fish.
Mhm.
Oh man, what do you think? Would you go for it if you're Fish Fear Me?
I'm so tempted, especially with the Cataclysms in hand. Like,
What could possibly go wrong? Oh, this is wild.
mhm.
I was gonna say I'm sad that we threw away another one, but we're just gonna play Nautilus. We're gonna get it back. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, and I guess it doesn't really now. It just doesn't really change the damage here. The other thought is
I block here. I want to put that thing closer to being dead to anything I draw.
yeah,
Especially right now while he doesn't have any mana up for buffs or shenanigans or combat tricks. Like,
that's fair. I'm surprised to not. I mean, I guess need to keep units alive. But I'm surprised to not push damage here using Broadwing.
the 1 extra damage.
Well, push any damage. We would have pushed 8.
Oh
Now-
God, Challenger. Yes,
And now we lose. Now we just lose it to quiet. Oh, I guess.
I
killing
didn't
Apple-
even. My brain was not even thinking about the Challenger. Honestly, that is a questionable one. I would have definitely pushed 8 there.
Your
But
opponent
maybe
has
we're
limited healing. Oh, I said, maybe.
caster curse, baby.
I just need to stop doing that.
You have to learn
with
how to
Nautilus-
manipulate it. You just say it for whoever you want to win.
Yeah. With Nautilus on board and the Megatusk coming down, you have to block with the tentacle.
And that's we can't reset from that. I know we just drew a Lowy, but like,
Truth is no
Well,
bad
I guess
to
you don't have
well,
to, because they won't kill you.
we can
They don't have atrocity. I imagine they'll play Megatusk and Sea Scarab here.
Okay. Alawi buffs only when she's also attacking with the tentacle, correct?
Yeah, Alawi only buffs with the attack.
I was
And-
wondering if there's a world where we like Cataclysm just to go ahead and get her buffed, but I was like, wait, that's not how that card works at all.
Could Cataclysm the 6/7 and then take the damage from Nautilus.
I feel like we're taking the damage from Nautilus no matter what.
But then next turn, the Broadwing will still be around to drag Nautilus out of the way, giving us a path to lethal. It won't level Alawi. We could, well, +2, 4 up. We'd be.
Oh wait, no,
one-
yeah, I had to go back and reread Alawi. That is what I was suggesting, was to Cataclysm just to get the extra tentacle damage on Alawi.
And also just take this attack. Like, just eat it. Cataclysm the Alawi. With 2 mana, he doesn't. Lunari doesn't have a way to kill. Ooh, I don't like it. I mean, oh,
If we were making that attack, why did we not play the Scarab?
yeah. Force, represent lethal.
Yeah.
It's
Why are we still holding the Scarab? I guess it's like a free-ish thing for Cataclysm, but like,
maybe that's it. Just
Rally
realizing
my
that that's
bounty.
too easy a target for.
Meet me.
It's going to be a big tentacle.
yeah, it heals, right? Fully heals. I gotta keep reading Alawi. So many
Only
words
when
on the
she's
card.
leveled.
Leveled.
Witness truth.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it sure is.
Digging. Can we find Undergrowth is good, but
Undergrowth
it's not
kills the
enough.
tentacle.
Oh, but
and
the
a
second
sun.
Nautilus.
Yo, what a draw!
I think now you single combat the Nautilus with your Alawi,
Yeah, I can see that.
and probably even use this. Well, form up doesn't save your tentacle. That second Nautilus draw,
It's huge.
and
The
with
fact that
Fisher,
you can't toss champions. It's like the deeper you get in your deck, the more likely you are to just draw those. And I almost feel like I never draw my champions when I'm playing the deck. You know what I mean? Until late. It's like the deck knows what you're trying to do.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. So I ought to see the form up. If
That's kind of huge.
if Fish Hermie can survive one more attack, that's looking iffy though. Oh, the Jarvan helps a lot. Because we can Fisherman can Jarvan Cataclysm to block.
Man, I'm just like watching this with bated breath.
What is
Sorry, I'm laughing at my own fun.
Fish Pyramid's line to victory?
Well, I mean, he can still win the match 2-1.
Oh, I was just looking at this game. Um,
No, it's looking rough. We have all these tricks, but Cataclysm, unfortunately, is not just pure rally. So it's not like we're getting free attacks. I mean, the only way, if we get to Cataclysm things that have Overwhelm. So if we can get like another big Alawi out or something.
Fisherman can clear the board with the free Cataclysms from Jarvan next turn.
They could clear the board now.
If he Cataclysms first, like Cataclysms onto the Sea Scarab, it gives the opportunity to respond to if that last Undergrowth is in hand with a Vile Feast.
Oh yeah, gotcha. I
And
mean,
also
but if they do that, you would just respond with your you still have single combat.
Exactly, having the 5 mana.
I don't know. This is looking very scary, but Fish for me is not out like at all, and that's terrifying.
I imagine you drag Sea Scarab with your bird.
Okay. And then you crash with everything else.
Well, you won't have enough health to survive against the Dreg Dredger. So I think you'll have to free Cataclysm. The
that Maokai means that we're gonna have very limited resources to work with to get our opponent down to 20.
I think Lunari is just trying to bait here. Although, depending on how many cards, with no tosses left, that means that deck is all champions. So it's Maokai and Nautilus. And if you're able to keep killing their champions, they can, the deep player can deck out. But second Cataclysm to keep the sapling from
spawning. Yeah, one less blocker.
Oh wow, and we get the barrier again. Surely you don't have third Cataclysm. Interesting issue here. The Cataclysm is.
Wait. He must be seeing a line for. He must be seeing a line for lethal here.
And we get the extra point of power, and that's 20. I mean, now 23.
Wow.
Wow. 1 health is all it took.
Dang.
Incredible game. Very good play from both players. Lunari almost getting there. And, that one of the things to consider, like with that Sea Scarab, did you need to play that to stay alive, or did you need to leave that up to avoid the Cataclysm?
I mean, yeah, because as we saw, like at the very end, Fish Fear Me did need all of those tools to get through that.
And
they might have had to use some of those tools earlier. If we had developed the Sea Scarab earlier, we might have dredged one extra card.
Yeah, would have represented lethal and forced a block, giving them fewer resources.
Okay, so Lunari's deciding to switch it up. We're not playing deep into Ash LeBlanc. We'll go there for game 3 if we have to, but we want to try and get the dub where we can.
So ban the Jack Samira. Jack Samira is very good into Ash LeBlanc. So I guess thought that the Fizz-Samira matchup was a little bit better. You do have the freezes to stop those big swings. I do love an Oman Hawk open hand.
Me too. It doesn't matter if I'm on the attack or not. We have double Omen Hawk. That's we're gonna not draw a unit here. I like when you get to
Sharpen the
not
blade,
draw.
secure the kill.
Okay, I can respect this opener too.
For glory.
It's definitely better. Pushing the 6 is definitely better. I like
I
when
guess
you
we-
don't draw the follower and you get Omen Hawk into Omen Hawk, so your next two guys are just +2/+2. You're like, yes.
Oh yeah. So I imagine if you're the Samira player here, you're going to drag, especially with the all-out follow-up. Go ahead and drag their 5/1 to keep your Samira alive on the following turn.
100%. We what? Double stylish shot.
This should be fun.
That might be too greedy. I still want to cast at least one. Oh, no. No, my brain. Stylish shot. What am I doing?
So
This is
we're going to see
fine.
the Brittle Steel here from Fish. Oh, gonna save it.
History forgets.
My
So-
brain
Black
always
rose
desperately
from
wants stylish shot
memories.
to trigger like just on damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not how that card works.
Nope.
Smoke and mirrors.
I mean,
Take 5.
this is a
Oof.
pretty aggressive opening from Fish Fear Me.
Definitely. And we got the double frostbite back up.
I mean, and also just the battering, down 11 life. And I don't know if you know this, but there is not a lot of healing available to us.
There's not. I think we developed Inferna here,
I think Inferno's great.
and we can
Don't-
we should be able to dump our hand next turn, and I think that's the only route we have is
Mhm.
literally play all of our spells like pre-combat. Shelly does change a little bit of that math. Does it?
It sucks losing the we
That's so many Shelly triggers that we're just throwing away.
with the stylish shots. Like, I think you could the opponent does have freezes too, though. That's a tough call. I would be tempted to play Shelly and start buffing up my elusives. Although you really want those on your Fizz and on your
I didn't survive the desert only to die of boredom.
we could
Yeah.
even double. We could even well, no, we wouldn't have enough mana left for our all out.
It's so awkward because like Shelly is the stronger play here for sure, and I feel like if we hadn't already taken 11 damage, that would be what I would be doing. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So we do have 3 mana here. We could take another stylish shot and a
We can play the rest of our spells, and we can play the little bubble fish. The
I would
burble
want to
fish.
leave up all out so that
We can,
we ensure that we get them back.
No problem.
yeah, and we can fight through those frostbites. That's exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we're just gonna try and clear the LeBlanc here.
Mm-hmm. I do like this. Force
Yeah.
them to use your frostbites now on the Samira, when we can also just threaten to buff right out of it. And leaving up 1 mana, it put. Okay, no, not willing to risk it.
Why? Okay. I mean, I guess they could have double frost, but we would be able to, like you said, buff right out of that. Right?
We could. I think it is the safer play.
I feel like we're down so much health. I don't know if we can afford to be taking the safer line. Like
I
now that we don't kill this LeBlanc, so that's one more 5-power guy that's gonna help trigger reputation on this tactician because we know he's probably just gonna drop. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, and then LeBlanc will level.
Maybe we're also trying to rally on their turn here. I think this is deceptively close, actually.
It's
As
very
much as I've
close.
been, much as I've been kind of riding off the Samira Fizz,
I think
just
this
have
is
to-
an Inferno block.
Is
Huh?
this your best?
Samira block.
Because that'll kill the LeBlanc. They'll have to commit the spell mana early.
I'm not crazy about this Samira block, but I'm being greedy. I want to be able to rally.
We can also, if we can force them with the all out
Oh,
in
we
hand,
can. Yeah, we actually can still do it.
and force them to the bloody business is not great here. Because with bloody business, they're probably going to kill our Inferno.
Just how I like it.
They will not be able to rally though.
Come on, you sorry lot. There's your spirit.
That looks like free burbles to me.
A lot of fish.
So I'll be curious to see. I imagine we'll see a freeze and a bloody business.
If your fish fear me, do you just try and take out the Samira so they don't rally and kill you right now?
That's a tough call because you don't have a good way outside of freezes to deal with the elusives. Although you do have freezes in hand. That's a tough call. I think you kill. I think you. Where do you kill Shelly? But
You know what? Yeah, we were so focused on that, but I think killing Shelly is a reasonable line.
mhm.
Okay,
mean, this-
no, he went with that one.
Killing Inferno limits her draw.
But we can just draw in response to you killing her. But do we want to, since we want to develop these burble fish with Shelly?
Yep, we just play the burble fishes, play the fizz, and
Okay, I think committing one is fair.
oh wow, what a draw! I mean
Wow.
it, and if you could draw the brittle seal. That is I think that
Disgusting, and he did the
again. Oh, that could have been an argument to use your brittle steel, to use your bloody business on your Avarosan Hearthguard instead.
instead.
Because it can't be.
Wait, he didn't do it.
The black rose blooms once more.
I guess just looking for lethal. It's another spell that you can save, and
But okay, yeah.
I mean, because I imagine that you're either killing them this turn or open on next turn. You know, they don't have a way to stop you.
True.
But
I still like removing LeBlanc from the board and keeping our Inferno. But is he not playing double? Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
surely we're going for the rally here.
oh yeah, that's
What are you
Absolutely.
rallying with? Stylus shot? Okay.
yeah, that's game. I mean, you have
Lucky for them,
double
the
stylish
last
shot in hand, like.
All right,
That's
so now
yeah. I mean, and that's what Fizzamir does. Sometimes it just takes the game over. You know, you hit those low cost hands. It's crazy to me. Like when you start out the game, you look at your hand and you're like, these cards, they kind of do. They don't really do much. But then you get to that Shelly turn, you get to that Inferno, and you're like, oh my god, I'm drawing a million cards, and it's making my board huge.
How do I hold all these cards?
Yeah. I'm just gonna casually rally now.
You know, for funsies. It's just a thing we do. We like to do it.
We like to have fun here.
We got some good cards in our opening hand for Lunari.
Let's see, deep. So deep into the Ash LeBlanc matchup. That opening Omen Hawk is very good.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if you can get that to land on. I mean, if you get a 6, a 6/5 Reckless Trifarian, it is just going to be a menace.
Oh, you said that out loud. You said it out loud. Okay. I was expecting to see it immediately. I'm gonna be honest.
I do also think that Reckoning is a huge card in this matchup because a lot of their units,
Are not that big. Not before they're deep.
having double buffs in hand for Fish Fear Me is great. Saves from the Jawfish, from Jaw Hunters next turn. I imagine you swing with both here. You just take your free point of damage. Unless unless Lunari really wants to block that Omen Hawk. Every point matters.
It does, but I think we got to try to kill LeBlanc.
Mm-hmm. One of the big fears I would have is just the brittle steals. Although there are 3 of them in the deck.
It's you can't. It's
You-
you have to play around it, but you also you
I
really
think you're
can't
committed.
afford to a lot of the time. It's like because if you don't brittle steal it, what you're just gonna let LeBlanc keep hitting you for 5 with quick attack.
I mean I would say you're pretty committed to that line there. I mean,
All the world
pretty yeah, I was gonna say
one
pretty sure this
arrow.
is an Ash turn. You very
look-
awkward hand for Lunari.
Looking very grim, yeah.
I think you could draw these Quietuses are just rotting in our hands. We have nothing to do with them.
Drawing a Vengeance is nice.
I mean, we can save ourselves another point of damage, and I don't think the Quietus is going to do anything else. We don't run freezes.
Yeah, I don't hate just quietusing the Omen Hawk. Just move on.
We aren't doing anything else with it. And this ought to level LeBlanc now. And
I swear, watching Runeterra is just like, man, this deck is good. Why am I not winning on ladder?
I mean, you got to remember these are 2. Even if this matchup right now looks lopsided, these are 2 excellent
Very good
players.
players,
They see
yeah.
a stacked field to get here. Lunari.
Absolutely.
But I just going into the next turn or so, gonna have the incisive tactician, combo up on Fish Fury's next attack token.
Another Vengeance is kind of cute. And
I
we probably have to go for that instead of our fish because we can't risk just getting frostbitten. But also, we can't have nobody in board.
if we go for the fish, we lose to here to help and to the iron
And to Cold Steel.
elixir of iron.
Oh, wait,
and
no,
this-
I'm reading it backwards. I'm having a moment.
we are 4 away from deep, so we could go after the LeBlanc and we would only lose to both. But if they have bloody business in response, we're just dead.
But we're also just dead on board anyway. So we have to go for something. But if it's Vengeance,
They can either way. They can replay. They have the Reckless Trifarian in hand and an Omen Hawk.
it's just so much damage.
And with the Incisive Tactician, and we already have the Mirror Image in hand, they're going to get to rally next turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this is a pretty firmly losing hand for Lunari, unfortunately.
Maybe it's time for the deep decks to start running Ruination. We could have had the mana for it this turn.
Yeah. So I think you just go for the fish on LeBlanc and hope for the best.
Make
Or
them have
you-
it.
Yeah. Or you could pass. I mean, no, you can't because you have enough mana for 1 Vengeance, which would save you on open. But if they develop it all, it's a very awkward spot for Lunari. I do not envy them.
We still would have the mana. We would still have the mana for the Vengeance, even if we try to develop here, though. So yeah, I think we do have to go for it. Make them do some shenanigans to keep that alive.
Yeah, here to help plus pot saves LeBlanc.
very unfortunate that they do have both.
And that would leave Fish Furby enough mana to develop both Reckless Trifarian and Omen Hawk.
We got the emote out of Lunari. Yep.
Yeah, and at this point, I'd imagine that is pretty much game.
We have the attack token. Our opponent could attack or block with Ash.
Guide our allies, my friend.
They fell asleep at the wheel if they had to go to the restroom and let somebody else finish the match for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine this is pretty well wrapped up. We can't block enough damage. We can Vengeance, but that locks Lunari out of playing Nautilus. You know, funnily enough, if we would have quieted that Omen Hawk earlier in the game, we would have had one extra health to deal with, and we wouldn't have to Vengeance here.
It's true. And then we could develop Nautilus and maybe some other sea serpents, sea monsters.
Mm-hmm. But
I mean, they also have Incisive Tactician to Mirror Image, so.
yeah, so it's a lot of what ifs that don't really matter. You know, it's
One must stack the wood before burning the pyre.
Huge.
yeah, just getting the LeBlanc on the board early and not having a way to effectively deal with it. Really just kind of ended the game.
Yeah, that's why everyone's saying Piltover and Zon's the way to go, right? You've got to have the 2 damage. Gotta have the Mystic Shots. Gotta have the high notes.
But yeah, but
5-2 is so fragile, but it gets there. Congrats, yeah.
yeah. Congrats to Fish Fear Me.
Hear me.
What a match! What a series of games.
That was so back and forth. I was very convinced. Game 1, I was like, all right, we're done. But then
Thought it
Samira
locked
Fizz is
up.
rallying back.
Yep, you can never count them out.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's the opposite. For me, I feel like people have stopped talking about Samira Fizz, and everyone's like, "Oh, Leona Samira is so much better." Every single time we saw Samira Fizz on camera today, it was just like very decisive, very convincing. Like, what do you do against this deck? They play Shelly and then hit you for 15 elusive damage.
Mm,
Yeah, if there's one thing Samira is known for, it's letting you get to 10 mana. Yeah. That's okay. My main question was whether or not he had the hat that says "Fish Fear Me." That's the only burning question that I have.
gotta give the important ones. Oh,
Oh, so he's got the full hat that's like "Fish fear me, women fear me, everyone. I walk a barren earth alone."
God.
Oh my god. I
Now
wish
we got the
nothing but the
important
best for
thing,
him.
though.
Oh, dog,
Oh,
dog on stream.
dog stream now.
Two
Oh,
double dogs.
double dog. What's up, Cooper? What's up, buddy?
So the
Oh
real
yeah.
winner is everyone watching the stream at home because you guys get to see double dog.
No, you
I'm
get
not
the
going to
whole
fact
crew.
check that.
That's argument to keep me on the desk. I bring the dogs.
It looks like your mic might be muted.
Did
Just
it
by the way.
again. I did it
Oh
again.
no,
I did it again. I
you
muted
guys,
myself
you guys really
again.
missed out. Brad was really just laying down the knowledge there, and it will forever be held by Lucky and I.
Oh my lord. I see, this is what happens when I have all the tools set up to work properly and then they just don't.
You know,
Like,
it's
oh,
It wouldn't be a stream if everything went flawlessly.
for real.
Yeah.
But as I was saying before, thank you for everyone for watching. Thank you for Self-Abide for participating. I shouldn't say participate for winning. We are not doing a survey this time around because of preseason. I did just send out a survey to everyone in the Discord. And as they said, a fat check, I said, turn it to the stream because it's the only Legends of Runeterra stream we get double dog. Just saying. But I am overall happy with how the tournament ran. It went smoothly. We had a little hiccup at the start, but it was actually a pretty quick tournament. What, we started this around 4. It's now 3.5 hours later.
yeah, that was quick. Hey, banging them out.
Yeah.
You know, we had fast-paced games. You know, a lot of action, a lot of like perfect lethals. You know, right on the edge. Great